Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another match of the week. My name is Neblime, and with me is Saetzero. Say hello, Saetzero.
The fuck did you just call yourself?
What? I'm Neblime. What are you talking about?
You didn't even try to do an Australian accent.
What?
You're fooling nobody.
No, it's just my new mic. It makes me sound different.
Alright, well then, you know what? Maybe it's me. I've been working a lot. Maybe I'm tired. You know what? It could be anything. I'm doing good, other than apparently having no idea who you are.
Alright, and we're going to cast, as you can see, Team GOSU against Team Lettuce Attack, Week 6, Tier 0. A lot of really good players you can see on the screen right now. And unless you have anything to talk about, let's just go right into Game 1.
No, I'm ready for this, man. A lot of names I don't really see that often too, so this is exciting.
Yeah. So can I start the game? Let's see. There we go. Yeah, see, look, the caster bot even says that I'm Neblime.
Oh, that's great.
All right, in the top right of Butter, in the yellow Protoss, it's ash.Jedi fighting for Team Lettuce Attack. And the bottom right, in the green Zerg, it's 440.
I thought 440 used to have a clan tag or something. I remember that name having a little more juice to it.
It was like type 440. No, that's type 100. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I remember there being something else, but that's okay. You know, maybe just playing a different region or any kind of things, or you know, as any good Zerg player would, get kicked out of your clan because you're playing Zerg.
Exactly.
No one wants you. See, we're both Protoss bros. We could just go hard in the paint with the racial bias right now.
Yeah, I'm Terran. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have any dog in this fight.
I'm gonna get you the trip up. It's gonna be great. Actually, you know what? If I see a Terran wall off and I know it's wrong, I'm gonna ask you to explain why.
Okay.
That's gonna be it right there.
All right, looks like it's gonna be a Forge first from Jedi 1. It's been more popular to do Gateway, especially in like the higher tiers, but you still see Forge a lot. It's totally fine.
I mean, it should be Forge, right? But even on the two-player map, if you go forward and it's like you get the chance to see the pool time, or if it's like hatchery first, you know, even I think it might be worth it to scout on the Gateway first too, just to get an idea what's going on. But either way, should be pretty good. Now we see that is overpool as it would be. As you were expecting, I think anyone, especially first map Butter, there's going to be shenanigans. You know there's going to be shenanigans.
I don't know. I haven't seen too many shenanigans on this map. It's not quite as shenanigan friendly as Eclipse. I feel like, like there's only certain areas where you can put your like proxy buildings and stuff, and like it's much harder to hide stuff in their own main. Oh, the pylon block. Speaking of shenanigans.
This isn't going to finish, but imagine if it does. Wouldn't that be good? It isn't going to finish, though. This is just going to make that drone bail out and make their choice for the next hatchery, which, you know, just delaying things a little bit, getting, I think, further away. So when you do send out those first couple zealots to be a little bit harassment, having maybe a juicier target at that third base, everything I think seems pretty good. This probe does see how many links are getting morphed in. We see a Nexus, but no cans being started. On a two-player map, a little scary.
Yeah, but this map is so long, and these things aren't even like gunning for the Protoss base. They do almost get the scouting probe, but not quite. Oh, and this drone back at home in Protoss base is kind of messing up the probe trying to build cannons here, but it does get driven off.
Scouting probe does go down, but does see that there are some links on the way. Second cannon goes down before the gateway, so putting in the respect that there is a chance this does some damage, but yeah, actually that second cannon is probably not going to finish in time, so you can see a couple probes even moving forward just to make sure this can't get up without any issue. There's the gateway to make things a little bit harder to plow through, and just in time that should be enough. A good thing he pulled those probes, because that could have been enough to stop this.
Looks like one Ling will make it into the Protoss base, but one Ling is not very scary at all. Like two probes beats that.
It's not scary, but man, it's annoying.
Oh,
it is super annoying. You can see it already took one down. It's taking some damage though, but it's just when you don't want to deal with this, it's just the most annoying thing to deal with.
Oh yeah, it's like it's big psychic damage, right? Like,
yeah, I mean,
the
this
Protoss team is
Link
so
has
good.
2 kills and hasn't died yet. And plus, it's like the Overlord's going to get good scouting info as well, but having just anything else in there to just be annoying, kind of get an idea what's going on, always going to be good for the Zerg to have see what's going on. We do see a 4th hatchery coming up at the natural for the Zerg pretty quickly before gas, so a kind of heavy larva style should get a lot of drones in play here, and because that scouting probe died so quickly, I want Jedi 1 to get back on the map and get an idea, because if you're like assuming normal openers and you're dealing with this, you might miss your chance to react appropriately and get kind of caught behind the economic war.
Right. I mean, this is one of the things that I like about Gateway Expand more than Forge is like you get those early zealots. Like you're gonna get in the Zerg phase, and like it's much easier to poke out again. You know, if you've been building up that zealot count. But as I say that, Jedi 1 does manage to sneak this probe out and just is going to wander into the Zerg base. And seeing this hatchery here at the opening is a pretty big tell of what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, you say sneak the probe out. There was nothing on the map to stop it at all.
Yeah.
No Lings were even anywhere near the front because they died trying to go for the attack. So the probe just got to waltz out, and Overlord saw it happening, but that's really no big deal. And you can see, even still getting some decent info, knowing that the lair's not starred yet, not seeing a Hydra Den. So Jedi 1 definitely has an opportunity to tech up and do whatever advantage they want, but we see Hydrogen over at that 3rd base, and this could be a little bit confusing to deal with. It might have a little more punch to it later, but just hit at a different time. So if Jedi 1 doesn't get to scout this, misreads the situation, things could be weird. Opening with Citadel first, though, so I think they understand the risk of what they're dealing with.
Yeah, I feel like seeing this hatchery here, this 4th hatchery, is a pretty big tell. Like, why are you going to get this if it's not going to be Hydras? You know, like... It would just slow you down if you're going for Spire or something like that. Somehow, a Zealot and 4 Lings met each other in this, like, 3 o'clock base, and they didn't fight. They just, like, told each other the secret code word and left. I don't know what was going on. That's so weird that happened.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was, like, Lings in position for a counterattack. The Zealots saw it. It's like, I'm not even going to try to run past these guys. Like... You do the old Grandpa Simpson where you just walk in the door and immediately turn around. It's like, nope, I'm good.
See ya.
But, I mean, we got the Zealot speed on the way, +1 weapons as well. Starting at gateways behind it, so, you know, we're going to have that big, strong ground army. But links are being made here, going to force Jedi 1 to respect that there could be an opportunity to do some damage. But these Zealots are way out of the way, not going to get scouted. They're just going to show up at the 3rd base that does not have any defense.
Yeah, I mean... This is one of those big features about Butter, is there's so many different ways to get through the middle. And it's hard to keep track of them all until you have, you know, 8 million overlords to scout everything. And like you said, this 3rd is completely unprotected here. There's just drones and some buildings. And there's no Zerg units at home to deal with this.
Why even go to the natural? You know the natural's going to have the which oddly enough, it actually doesn't, but it's like, it's so much more likely, but man, there's a lot of drones. You're going to go kill 3.
One shot.
Yeah, then the Link's immediately going to have to retreat. It's a good amount on the field. +1's not going to be done time, but speed will be for these Zealots, so maybe opportunity to get out there. They got a little bit damaged up, but look at 440's drone count. Even with the losses, you could see this 4th hatchery really kicking in, and this situation for Jedi 1 is not as good as I would like it to be. Losing these first couple Zealots without doing that much damage is not what you're looking forward to. And you see the Spires on the way, so gonna have to be ready in case Mutas will be the play. Although I don't think there's enough gas to really justify it.
I mean, this is this is only 3 Zealots, and it forced a lot of Lings and killed a few drones and got like a complete scout off. I think this was really good for the Protoss. Like, Zealot lives. What? Ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm just thinking of the pressure you could have put over at that 3rd. Like, getting in the main to get the info is pretty good, but like the moment the drugs got pulled from the natural, maybe switching over to 3rd. Now we see it's good SimCity 1 sunk it done, so they'll be able to get some stuff done. Hydra production on the way as well, and with Lair done, Lurkers is going to be on the way too. So Jedi 1 working on a Corsair since they saw the Spire, but they're going to have to get a Robo soon. Make sure these Lurkers don't really ruin the pressure I think they're going to want to put on 2 bases.
Oh my god, look at how much damage these Zealots are doing. They're forcing so many Lings and they're killing so many Lings. Like, Zerg is really not happy with how this has gone. And we mentioned the worker count, like, it felt like 2 minutes ago, and Zerg was ahead. Now Protoss is back to being well ahead here. Nicely done by Jedi 1.
Yeah, but still, like, the fact that it's this close is not really ecstatic. So I want to see Jedi 1 add on. Like, you do see Temple Archives on the way, Gateway. They still need to worry about that Robo with the potential for those lurkers who really kind of disrupt things.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Once you get detection, Jedi 1's got to make a decision, I think, soon. Is it going to be 2 base power to put some pressure on? Or you got to get that 3rd base up soon, because the amount of drones 440 has, and they should be able to take a 4th base without too much issue once these lurkers pop. You're going to be putting yourself in a bad spot if you don't commit one way or the other.
Right, definitely. We are seeing more gateways coming online. We're seeing the Templar Archives finish and a second Forge, so I think this is going to be like a 2-1 push, or I guess a 1-2 push. Maybe with the new meta, max out the armor first kind of thing.
Well, the first upgrade was the weapons to fight.
Yeah. So what's been going on lately in this matchup, or at least what I've been told, is like you still get the +1 attack, so you can 2-shot lings, and then you go hard on the armor. And the point of that is like you just keep your gateway units alive while your Templar do all of the damage.
Yeah, it makes sense. It just that doesn't go into the double forge, because you can't do armor then armor 2 or armor once. Like, you can't bank against it like that. So.
I see it now. Yeah, and we do have +2 attack on the way. Smart call on that one.
Ooh, look at all these zealots down at the bottom left. Good opportunity to do damage, but there's a lot of Hydras starting to get a good spot for a good contain. And lurker aspect is done. I don't see any being morphed yet, though.
There's
a little bit of a thing.
There is one outside the Protoss base. We do have these 3 cannons. We have a Templar just waiting to cast a storm. Meanwhile, the Zealots are into the 3rd, but look at this Sim City. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, these drones are doing their weight in gold, but that +1 weapons, if you can just plow through these, you're going to kill that Sunken pretty fast and just really show off this base. And you can see the Hydras, they have to go for the attack at the natural. They don't have time to retreat and do anything. Probe's getting pulled to make sure that lurker can't get in. Yeah, you got to be really careful, but that's a lot of damage that everyone's taking for it. You can see there's no defense back at home. These Templar just...
Oh my god.
Yeah, not done yet. Got to buy time. These Corsairs are not going to buy you time.
No.
Oh no.
Man, this is looking like my PvPs when I off race. I mean, getting absolutely blasted by these Hydras, hitting them right before Protoss got that critical upgrade. Damn.
Yeah, which that's a little surprising, especially for going Citadel first, that the storm wasn't on time.
Yeah.
I think stepping out of the way, because he got in with those zealots, saw that spire, and it was like, oh crap, but there's no gas at the natural. Like, there's not a big back, so you didn't have to really worry about it. I think when you go Citadel, you got to commit to going Templars. If you really need it, grab some Archons. I think going out of the way for Corsairs, it can be a trap if you're not very careful about how you spend your money.
Yeah, I don't really like the late Stargate kind of stuff unless you're absolutely panicking. And I'm going to use this one game as my one data point.
I mean, I'm starting to see it a little more often, so
Yeah,
I'm not
me
sure
too.
if Mini started to do something that's like just trying to warp everyone's minds, but just to keep it more straightforward, especially for like CPL level. I mean, these guys are tier 0; they know what they're doing, but
Right.
I just see it being hard to manage your income of like how do you build buildings and do the late tech with all that gas income.
Well, we might see that again. So in the top right, in the white circ, we have 440 stealing that game from the poor Protoss with those Hydralisks. And in the top left, in the Navy Blue, it's too dark to read. It's Jedi 1. And the Protoss.
Yeah, we actually snuck in. It's actually BSU this time. You can't see the name. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Now, as much as I love being a Protoss homeboy and just being like, no, these are the guys I can defend them all the time, I'm not gonna say 440 like stole that game. Jedi 1 took that every zone he had, moved way out of the way to make sure they weren't spotted on the way.
Right.
But that Sim City defense, the 3rd, you should see that and be like, I can't do it, and just leave.
Right. And I think the Templar were pretty late.
Well, the Storm was like Templar were there. They had the energy. They're just waiting. Like, why can't I click this button? Oh, look at this though. Jedi 1. Interesting.
Oh,
on the 4-player map, you're gonna do this.
Yeah, it is in the main here, and probably unfortunately for Protoss here, the Zerg is going to scout in the correct direction first. So, so what do you think will happen? Do you think the Overlord is going to continue to the main, or do you think the Overlord will see that the natural is empty and then like leave?
I wanted to stop at the natural because that'd be perfect. That'd be so good right now. But if the Overlord comes in and sees it, then also Jedi 1 knows the spawning part. Because look, there's no probe scouting yet.
Right.
Which, I mean, as I said, I think after the second gateway is when you send it out. So if it goes the wrong direction, you're going to put yourself in a weird spot. But this will, at least make sure it's not cross-munge. You'll know where your opponent is. And please go to the right.
I'm trying to see if the Overlord will see the... Ooh. Okay, so the Overlord and the Probe don't see each other. But players are scouting in the right direction here.
All right, so it looks like we got another overpool opening, though. So 440 will be able to make the units they're looking for here. Oddly enough, against this gateway in the main style, I actually prefer like hatchery first, getting that fast larva. Really makes it a lot more painful to deal with the early links, because you just don't have the upgrades to make the Zealots super good.
I think the
Overlord, it's gonna go.
I just want. Oh! It turned around. Turn to the left. Oh no! Is it actually not going to see them? Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, it sees the Zealot. And he turns around. Nice reaction time from 440. Oh my god. Right. That's about to be tragic.
That was gonna be hilarious. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, so let's see what we see from 40 moving from here, though. The hatchery at the natural is being built. Hasn't started a third yet, but like, can you afford to bank up money to get that third hatchery? You're gonna have to be forced to play on two hatchery a little bit longer than you think, because if Jedi 1 gets some damage done, you can really put yourself in a bad spot. You can see losing one ling as the first three Zealots going to move out. More protection. This is where the pressure is going to really start to begin.
Right. So what I normally see, we see you get speedlings. You get this third hatch at your natural. You get like one sunk, and you make a ton of lings. And then when you hold off like the first wave of Zealots, you react based on what Protoss is doing. Like if the Protoss tried to expand, then you get mutas, and if the Protoss tried to tank, then you get hydras, is what I see normally.
Well, you said speed lines, but they're not mining gas. They have the extractor, but backed off get the extra money. So, and these things just get right up in the ramp. This is a great spot to fight these lanes initially as reinforcements go through. Jedi 1, this is prime positioning to just ruin this Zerg's day. You can see in the main, there's no real defense, no Sunken Star as a natural either, and there's I thought it was 4 Zealots. I guess it's a couple probes as well, so just going to be able to put some pressure on. But as long as Jedi 1 keeps his Zealots in the main in a good position while the reinforcements show up, before he's going to really scramble to deal with this.
Yeah, this 2-gate build is all about like momentum and keeping as many Zealots alive as possible, and we're doing a great job of that here. Jedi 1 is getting so much damage, like being so annoying in the main, and that's letting more and more Zealots get in here.
The Zealots at the natural, though, attacking one of those hatcheries. It's not even done yet. They're not going in main to help reinforce this fight. I think that might be a little bit of a mistake, but still, this pressure. There's so many Zealots still alive here. More being made behind this. 440 doesn't even find the time to start their ling speed. Finally, just getting started now, but you can see they're on 10 drones. They've taken so much damage. They're forced to commit to only lings. Even at this point, if it doesn't get any better, Jedi 1's already done so much damage economically.
Oh yeah, this is not the way that Zerg wanted this game to go right now. And look, these Zealots are just everywhere. There's no drones in the natural whatsoever. Meanwhile, Protoss is just, slowly making more probes, getting a forge, so it looks like it will be an expansion here for the Protoss.
Yeah, I like the move, especially when you know your opponent's going to be forced to this lane defense. You're going to need the forge to get the +1 anyway. But there's no reason to try to make a wall now. You can make the stuff in the base, just use the cans for the wall. And while these Zealots are still just going to do so much damage here. And you can see that supply for Forward hasn't really grown, still on those 10 drones. Speed is about to finish soon with 5 lanes going. This might be enough to kind of get him through. Next speed start for Jedi 1, but doesn't even have a pylon at the front to reinforce the cans. So hopefully these Zealots don't get caught out and cleaned up.
Well, so the ones in the main do get surrounded here, especially with the help of these drones. We do have a trickle of Zealots coming in, but I think at this point 440 has stopped the bleeding. Let's see what they decide to do. Oh, they're going to run right past these Zealots, go straight to the base. They see that the Protoss was a bit greedy with this expansion and didn't build these cannons yet.
Yeah, there's nothing here. The lanes are going straight forward. The Overlord sees absolutely everything. One Zealot here, and even a couple of pros getting pulled that try to help out the best they can, but Speedling's still getting pretty good. Enough made back at home that should be able to deal with the 2 Zealots that kept pushing forward to do damage. And now, as fast as you can reinforce here with these 3 hatcheries, 440, even though they're still on the dregs of having basically no economy, that legs are going to be able to start putting the pressure on. It's going to be on Jedi 1 to survive at this point. The Nexus, though, will end up finishing. It can be made in the main, but if you can kill off that Nexus, like, this game's definitely not over yet.
Yeah, I mean, this is suddenly pretty rough for Protoss. I mean, it's kind of like the exact opposite of the situation that we just saw, where even if Protoss survives here, now they're the one whose, like, game is not developing anymore. Well, they gets to do whatever they want at home, which seems like it's going to be more Lings trying to overwhelm themselves before their numbers get too high. We have a third gateway, which I think is kind of a panic move here from the Jedi one.
And Nexus as natural goes down. I actually think I would have preferred another cannon to help cover this production. You see these legs slowly bleeding in. They're getting a good surround as these elves pop off, so they don't get to go in a good spot. They even have to back up to the cannon by the mineral line, but there's enough Lings here now. They can probably just take that fight straight up. They're going for the can. One zealot dies. Can goes down as well. Pro's being pulled to try to defend, but look at that supply count. 440 now ahead, and it's purely speed Lings. Nothing else on the way here. I think Jedi won because they were a little bit too greedy taking that expansion, kind of threw away a great advantage they had early on.
Yeah, this is like the danger of doing for the Shugate build. If you make a misstep, Zerg will not give you even 1 second to recover here.
Yeah, this race is broken. Like, why don't they produce one at a time out of hatcheries? 3 at a time? Can I make 3 zealots at a time?
Yeah,
Isn't that crazy?
Ridiculous.
Like, they didn't break Bros. They got warp gates in StarCraft 2. You can make as many as you want. It didn't break them.
Alright, these poor zealots are trying their hardest to get good trades on these Lings, but there's just too many Lings. Somehow the gateways, like, we spread out the damage on the gateways as much as possible. But they are starting to go down. Now the probes against this amount of speedlings are not going to be any help.
Well, this amount's not even the end of it. More still being reinforced here. 440 snuck out a couple extra drones, but no more getting gas, no more getting tech. He doesn't care. Like, these Lings will do the job, and that's gonna be Jedi 1 tapping out. So first set of the night is gonna end up going to a game 3. No,
it's 2. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it's been a long day.
It's alright. So we're gonna update that score in favor of GOSU. Well played.
So do we now get to stop saying things that I pick groups where Protoss loses? Because I didn't pick this one.
I didn't think we talked about it. I've never talked about that. That sounds like co-work kids.
I didn't say you did. Is that the guilty conscience you're bringing it through? Like, I just said, it's a rumor. It's an alleged.
I see. Alright, let's get started with the next series. Just going to be Baal against Veer. Both players who names I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce here.
Well, I mean, did you play Diablo 2?
No.
Oh, really?
So
That's such a weird thing.
I thought that it was always... I always thought it was Baal. That's what I've heard, but I don't know. I guess everyone else calls him Baal, so we're going with that. In the top right of Butter, in the blue Protoss, it's ash.Baal, and in the bottom right in the red Zerg, it's Veer from Clan Rev.
Anyone that plays Diablo 2 would pronounce that Baal.
Baal? Okay, well, let's do Baal then.
There you go.
All right.
Now, I don't know if that's from Diablo 2, but given the spelling, that's my guess.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously, there's references that go from everywhere, but that's why I was surprised. You're like, oh, I've never played. It's like, I feel like most people I know that if they played one Blizzard game, pre Warcraft 3, they played all of them. It feels like it's like you just trusted Blizzard to give you good PC games while you're growing up and didn't have a job, so you had to be very selective about the games you bought.
I think my parents would have been very upset with all the demonic imagery in Diablo. I barely got away with StarCraft.
I mean, yeah, you're playing Cyber Race Wars, the game.
Exactly. Right, so
at least you didn't become a Terran player.
Oh, yeah.
Got him. Right there. Right there.
Oh, no. You saw through my ruse. So it looks like we're going to see a gateway expand here from Baal. So it'll be nice to have something different. By the way, we didn't say, but Veer is a pretty popular caster. That's not what? Oh, come on. See, I am Neblime. I had the caster curse. It's fine. It does look like an 11 hatch from Veer. But Veer is a pretty popular caster. Does a lot of casts for BSL, BWCL, and has been casting for CPL this season. So that's cool to see.
Yeah, always welcome here. And I like seeing, different kind of openings, but man, Forge opening when you don't Forge like Pylon Scout is terrifying to me. And that is a weird pool positioning.
Yeah, I feel like it was to like dodge the probe, I guess. Not sure what that's about. It's not really a big deal.
It really isn't, but seeing that is the hatchery first, and the fact it's a little bit quicker that the probe wasn't there in time to block it. Now, if you Pylon Scouted, you could have. A little unfortunate there, but at least knowing the opening you're at to deal with here, so we'll see what the play is going to be. Gateway going to go down, no cans needed just yet, so get to be as greedy as you want to be against this build, which is kind of required, otherwise you put yourself behind it before the game even really starts.
Yeah, we even getting the gateway before the cannon. That's a nice pickup there. Feels pretty good for Protoss.
Well, it's really like how fast do you get your core compared to the cans. So
yeah.
Where you feel really good about it. And that probe in the main sees there's only one set of links being morphed, so you can be really greedy right now as ash.Baal, which I feel like they just play whatever race they're in the mood for at CPL, aren't they? Because they're mainly a Zerg player, right?
Yeah, did they race pick? I didn't even think about that. I just kind of accepted that they were Protoss upon looking at this replay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think they might have been one of the people that's like switched per season. I don't know if it's actually a full-on race spec. It might be. Should make all the CPL players put that in their names, like Ball race picker, so we know for sure. Probe's gonna be able to get back in, see that. Well, you got to actually get in there, see that lair. It's so important. You want to know that information.
All right, he's not gonna say. I think these links are not gonna get in the way. Yes, does see the lair coming. It's a pretty huge deal in this matchup. Not gonna have any weird 4 or 5 hatch before lair in this game.
And we see Cybercore about to finish. Overlord's in position to see whatever the tech choice will be. Now, if I am correct with my assumption that I do believe, Baal has done other races before, like I said, I mainly think I remember them playing not Protoss. So, Stargate, keeping things very simple, very traditional, I think that is definitely the way to go. And we see Veer back at home. A lot of drones being made. They're actually going to catch up on the worker count already. Hatchery first, those extra larvae are so useful in this matchup.
Yeah, and Veer with that very handy scouting information from the Overlord in the main is able to time out those drones perfectly. But we do have, again, a sneaky Zealot headed for the third, and there's even less defense here at this third here.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like this is just what you gotta do on this map. With all these lanes, that one all the way to the left, there's never gonna be an Overlord covering it. So you can poke, Veer can poke with links and see if there's an opening in the wall, but whenever Baal gets the opportunity, just throw that one Zealot in. And they might be able to get a couple drone kills or at least stop mining for a little bit. That alone is definitely worth 100 minerals that you'll lose eventually when the Zealot gets cleaned up, but this is exactly what you're looking for right now. The fact that we don't see a second gas from the Zerg, though, should see it probably won't be a big mutant investment, just enough for Scourge to stop the Corsairs.
Yeah, I think we would see like a second gas. But, no, look at this Zealot, just not getting any kills just yet, but driving all of the drones away, forcing these lings to come back. Trying to find a good little corner here. Oh, you guys can see that. There we go. Actually getting some decent trades here. Just barely doesn't kill that last circling. And meanwhile, you can see look at how much faster the Templar are going to be this game. It was even started before the Citadel. I'm kind of wondering, like, are we going to see like Corsair DT or something? By the way, we were both wrong. There are going to be mutas, at least one muta.
Yeah, one muta I don't love.
Yeah, I mean, like 5 is a thing, but one, like, I feel like one muta is just to try to trick the Protoss, right? It could be because Veer is supply blocked here thanks to this Corsair.
Yeah, but like, look at there's not even enough to get that second amount. Now, if you want to add them on later, I don't mind that at all. And I think it might be a little bit more investment. We do see Flyer Carapace, which does really help with Scourge as well, but they do try to go in, get one hit on the Corsair with the natural, but does not actually get the kill. Can's doing enough of a job to ensure it stays alive for now. But yeah, you're saying like the Temple Archive a lot more on time here. Even though it is just getting storms up, I think what we're seeing from Baal, the way I'm seeing things go up, I don't think we're going to see a giant gateway explosion. Like, the probe count is looking pretty decent. DT is going to go on a map, see if he can get some harassment done. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him actually try to just secure that third base instead. And just make sure if they get their third up before Veer gets their fourth.
Yeah, we'll see here. This is kind of an older style to get these DTs so quickly. So I'm really curious to see how it works out. I have like no faith in this build when I go for it. We'll see if Baal is going to be able to pull it off better than I can, but I feel like Veer like has these overlords in exactly the right spots.
Well, you can see the problem we're actually going to see here, though, that Baal didn't keep making Corsairs. So, like, they don't have a lot of anti-air defense, and enough meters were added on that they even want to plow through here. There's not a lot of cannons, like, especially at like the natural, you go to that upper left corner, there's an opportunity. The DT taking the damage it can, staying out of the Overlord range and out of the Sunken range, it's going to do some damage to this one hatchery at least. If we can get that, would that be a fantastic kill?
To get the Corsair in the natural while the mutas hit the probes here. Trying to build cannons, but they're kind of at a weird angle. There's going to be a good spot where these mutas can fight without being shot back. We do have an Archon already, though.
You gotta be careful. That does punch a lot of damage through there, so that should be enough to make Veer back off. Actually lose the mutant on the retreat as well. The hatchery over at the third for Zerg does stay alive. The Hydras do spawn up and go through. And we see some Zealots going on the map as well, but Veer SimCity looking pretty decent. As long as he get some decent unit production, I think they're going to be a spot. But look, they're already up some workers. More damage being done, though. Where are... I saw a couple drones being... Oh, I guess they were being morphed into defensive buildings.
We do have an attack at the bottom left, but look at this ridiculous SimCity. The DT and the Zealots at the top can't even get in here. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not what I want to see, but it's like it's good for the Zerg.
It's not going to get in here. Oh, it's going to get cleaned up by these Hydras. One hatchery does go down, but overall, I think this is a trade that Zerg is willing to make. Like, I feel like the dream of these 5 muta plays is to cut down on the High Templar count. And by forcing an Archon, I mean, that's achieved pretty well. There's only one High Templar still alive. The Zealots have been killed a lot. It feels pretty good for Zerg. I feel like the Protoss game plan has been really screwed up here.
Well, I mean, look at just the state of the game right here. The supplies are basically even. That first attacking force basically got cleared up. Investing in a couple of DTs that did a little bit, but not that much at like end of the day. The first 2 Templar got more to an Archon. You can see Zerg's actually still up on workers, and like they can comfortably be on 3 bases, but they're even going to take a 4th here. It does look like a Zealot might be able to poke around and find that to at least slow things down, but I think when you're doing this Baal, like going up to these 8 gateways and putting pressure on, if you lose that first attack force without really getting anything done, you're in a terrible spot.
Yeah. It's hard to keep that pressure on Zerg if they know that you've lost your army. Give them a long time to build drones up. And that Zealot does find this hatchery, but will definitely be cleaned up before he can actually kill it. And what is Baal going to do with that information? I feel like the probes have been cut for a while now, so I think we're definitely committed to some kind of timing push here before we can take a third. We do see move out.
The probes were cut, but they lost a lot on that mute harass the natural, so they did do a decent job catching up. But yeah, this definitely looks like a pretty geared up to be an attack. Robo is going to finish up soon. We see lurkers pretty far behind, so observers won't be the problem moving forward here, but look at Veer's Hydra army over on that left side. It's pretty intimidating at this point, and they do got their first upgrade, so going to be able to do some good damage. It's going to be up to, if Baal wants to attack, it's going to be important to not attack at the bad SimCity and make sure they get some good storms.
This Protoss army is like so Templar heavy. It's definitely going to rely on getting some 6 storms here. Oh, this Corsair's trying so hard to stay alive. The goons slowly chip away at the Scourge. Nice macro there.
Looks like Bale's actually going to take a third base, but over at that right side, that's usually not the third base I see, but if you can defend it, you know, whatever works out fine. Lurkers are done and being morphed here. Bale's going to keep moving forward a little bit. Hasn't really seen that there's lurker tech, but I mean, 12 into the game, you got to assume it's around here somewhere. A DT does go over to that left side base, and Overlord's staring at, but no reaction because it hasn't attacked yet. And we do see lurkers have been morphed now. More can be made as well, and look at this Zerg supply, still so close to Protoss, even work count. This is not a great situation for Bale. I want him to try to do at least a little bit of damage, but as long as they engage carefully, if they do a bad attack and lose everything, that's just going to cause so much trouble.
Right. Seems like both players are being very careful right now, not really trying to punish each other for being out of position, just poking around just a bit here. You talked about this third base. I think this third base is way better against Zerg. Like, the small ramp to defend with is really strong if you have like 1 or 2 Templar at the base. The base is so open, it's hard to defend, I think.
No, I could see like the argument for both. I just like taking the top left one instead, because if the Zerg army's up there attacking that base, they are so out of position to help defend back at home. Where if they're going to attack that base, they're going to be over at like the 3 o'clock, so they're more in position to kind of move back and forth more freely. I think both just have their own however you're going to play the match.
Alright, we're having some lurkers kind of sneak their way over here onto this one ramp. I don't know if there's going to be like left there in hold position, or if Veer anticipates like running some Hydras through there later. It's kind of interesting. By the way, this DT is still in the 4th base, just hanging out. He got 1 drone earlier, hanging out on the edge of vision, maybe waiting for more saturation to show up, or waiting for something to kill that Overlord.
I think you wait for more, because if you're going to go in and die to that sunk and try to get kills, you want to make sure you get a lot of kills. Seems pretty reasonable. A little bit of scouting info for the Zerg does find that third base for the Protoss, and here goes the DT going kills. It's actually out of range of the Overlord, so only now taking the damage. Oh, if he was careful, he wouldn't be losing this, but now he...
Oh, no. But 4 more kills is pretty good.
Yeah. Now, in your heart of hearts, do you want to see a Zerg with 50 drones in this matchup? No. Does that make you feel comfortable?
Yeah, I get uncomfortable when there's more than 18 drones. Like, Zerg starts to get out of control.
Yeah, you can see Queen's Nest now done, so Hive Tech will be an option soon enough, and I don't feel like what we're seeing from Bale is going to put him in a good spot. He's got 2 for the weapons, but no armor upgrades just yet. You can see not really focusing on that ground stuff as much as we saw in like the first game earlier. Trying to bleed out a little bit, and looks like maybe clearing out some room, thinking about taking their 4th base, but you can see now moving out of this map with all these lanes to attack through can be very difficult. A lot of groups moving forward with no Zealot support. This could get dangerous if Ver finds it.
Yeah, we do have a raid from 440, so thank you for doing that. Unfortunately, we cast your games first. We're in Series 2, but it's definitely a treat to see those games.
Yeah, we did speak your praises, you fucking animal. We saw what you did.
Straight up Hydra Man, Handling Man. Pretty good.
I mean, why make the fancy units when the base units are better?
Exactly. Veer has like lurkers all across the map, but Bale found the one path with no lurkers on him, and Veer might regret having all of this army supply in the wrong place, even if it's at 170, which is absolutely terrifying for Zerg. We do have a flank coming in here. We need to see some godlike storms if Protoss wants to make it out of this alive. And we're starting to see that.
The first one was good. Second one whiffed out. But he's still attacking from the back, so Zelt's out of position here. And Ver's not really trying to engage the entire thing at once, so this Protoss army actually has enough muscle to kind of power things through. Bale finally taking a little bit of supply lead, but still pushing forward. I think they want to put some pressure on this 4th base that was taken, which does open the door to some counterattacks, or at least cutting out reinforcements for Ver, but I don't know if this is exactly what you want to do here. You don't want to take too much big damage from Bale. He's not trying to engage this right away. Maybe waiting for reinforcements to get a good surround here. And you see Lane's engaging ahead of everything else, trying to coordinate this, but the speed of the units making it a little bit difficult.
Yeah, there's Zerg units coming in from 3 sides, but each side is not as strong, but I think it's too much for Bale to focus on. I'm not sure. Well, no. Okay, now we're seeing some pretty good storms. The Glings are in here. Going to be great against these goons, and I think that might be it. This looks like every PvZ that I've played, where like I feel like my push is going well, and then all my zealots are dead, and then it's just Goon Templar that slowly gets cleaned up.
Yeah, it's not exactly what you're looking for, but still, like, the lanes are not trading as well as you would like. You see that supply lead for Baal still pretty decent. Second wave of reinforcements going to start moving across the map as well, but it's, again, it's all Goon. It's so terrifying to be doing this, and when we see 15 groups of lanes being made,
oh my god.
And I assume that we got the crackling upgrade. I haven't actually didn't see it in production, but Hive's been done for a while.
Right,
should be done on the way here, and you can see we've been picking up some of these.
Cast your curse, baby.
Oh no, that's not what you want to see if you're making this many lings.
Yeah, pretty kind of like a panic button response here, but they're not terrible even without the crackling upgrade. Although with this Archon now, it seems like each wave from Zerg is just a little bit too small, so Protoss has been able to keep this army alive. See a wave of reinforcements coming down themselves to help tank for these goons. I don't understand. Oh, never mind. I was saying that I don't understand why we didn't go for the 4th base, but there's 5 sunks there, so never mind. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, you could if you really wanted to force the way through, but I think poking around like he is here, find out which base is the weakest, which now that you have ranged goons to help you out, but ooh, Lurkers burrowing from behind. No more storms available, so finally, yeah, Sturms. No Sturms available, no Storms either, and you can see the Lurkers do get cleaned up, but does do some pretty good damage here. But that Baal's supply lead does keep slowly growing over time here, despite Ver having this great economy.
Yeah, I feel like
not doing a good job producing.
I feel like we both expected Protoss to just die here, but Baal is actually good and manages to get way more damage than we expected.
Yeah, I mean, I would have lost this game.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now, with these reinforcing zealots, like, it seems now it's Zerg is the one that got worn down. It's going to be hard for Protoss to actually break one of these bases with this excellent SimCity here, but there is this base here in the, I don't know, what is that, 4 o'clock?
Yeah, that would be a great target right now. And also over at that 9 o'clock, you see we're really just trying to be greedy here, see if they can get away with something. Baal does manage to get through, kill off those Sunkens, Lings being made here, and now the Adrenaline upgrade should be done, so you see, going to be able to get the damage done. They got +2 armor compared to the Protoss +3 weapons, so these Zealots still effective against the Lings. As effective as you can be against Cracklings, anyway.
Yeah, you definitely want to get away from these, like Zealot Goon kind of composition. You want to throw in those Archons, maybe even some Reavers to make quick work of all these Lings. It seems like Baal might have caught on to this base here, but just in the nick of time, we see some Lurkers and Spore Colony, or some kind of creep colony, going up here.
Yeah, but this does make me worried here. I don't like Baal taking this 3 o'clock, like right in the heart of danger. That sounds terrifying when you're already on Hive Tech. We saw the Defiler mount has been made a while ago. Consume is done, so your like big defense plays like, well, I can do cannons, like 1 Dark Swarm and a handful of Lings, I'll destroy everything. And this close together, like you don't invest in like robos without ramps to make Reavers and that kind of stuff. That's like that really good late game defense. So this is not my favorite. Like taking the top left, or like even if you had to take a base close to the Zerg, I'd take like that 10 o'clock above the left side.
Yeah,
like something that's a little further away from just the epicenter of all the reinforcements.
The thing is, like I think maybe the reason that base was taken is so that Baal can defend both bases with the army in one location rather than having like spread across the map. I'm not sure, but ooh, here we go. We do find a base here at the 9 o'clock, which is so far undefended. Just a few Lings here, which actually is enough apparently to kill everything. We have 1 Zealot and Mineral Line killing some drones.
Well, you can see that +3 armor for Zerg just finishing during that fight. So now Zealots versus Lings not gonna be as effective, but Archons are gonna still be kicking some ass. They're gonna punch these things to death quite easily. Still plenty of goons to help out with the defense, and like I said, no static or defense at all over at this 9 o'clock. So again, both sides just throwing units at each other. Ver hasn't had a good chance to do a good counterattack though. I think that could be the thing that would really swing this game a lot more open for Zerg, is they managed to sneak 1 Defiler and a control group of Lings to one of these bases, 1 good Dark Swarm, and you can see Baal's been very all my army in one spot for a 1 big punch kind of attack.
Yeah. Oh, and now we're seeing this base here taken before the much closer ones. But I think maybe we're relying on that choke point. I'm not sure. We just forgot about the one that you keep recommending.
Oh, here comes the siege over to third. A couple defilers, lots of lings, and I don't think even upgrades zealots and goons are going to help against the dark swarm. There's
one Templar here who has full mana. So has to be used. We do see dark swarm all over everything. It's like there's so many dark swarms I can't even tell what's going on here under the clouds. Storms, I think, are getting a ton of damage down there, but there's still lurkers and lings under that. Meanwhile, the Protoss army is hanging out, not being focused on until tries to defend this base.
And they were in position to make an attack over at that Zerg fourth, but decides to peel back and go against that. So Baal did take a base up in the top left, so losing this one really not the end of the world, but that's a big investment for what he lost. He managed to save most of the probes, which is a good thing. You can see, managed to catch some overlords in the middle of the map, so like both sides trading is back and forth, but I feel like Baal's been stuck in this like 30-40 supply lead for quite a while now. And as Hive Tech keeps developing here for Verd, as he keeps banking money up, like look at that, 2,000, 4,000. This could get very difficult to deal with very quickly for Baal, especially just one space of being out of position. And these fights could go so much worse.
These lurkers out here are being murdered by these storms because they're so clumped up. Baal keeps getting such good trades here.
Well, you say that, but man, look at that supply shoot up at 7 Ultralisks on the way.
Oh boy.
Yeah, here we go. This is what we're talking
about. Bank a bunch of money and make Ultras.
I mean, at least Pros has great tools to deal with it. DTs and Reavers both very effective against Ultras, as long as you recognize I need to start making those units.
Yeah. Ooh, a Defiler comes in here, tried to save the natural, throws down a Dark Swarm and a bunch of Cracklings coming in to try to kill these goons, but the Zealot of the Storm's doing a decent job here. Well, here come the Ultras. These goons are in an unfortunate place, but the Ultras are bugging through the goons. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, this still got to weigh on their Ultra upgrades, but see, more in production as well. For had that bank and burnt all of it out pretty quickly. I think a big thing that could have helped out, you can see Plague is just about to finish now. Plague earlier on some of these defenses, I think Ver could have put himself in a much better spot. But here comes the DT squad in the middle of the map. 8.
Yeah, with an observer.
7 with an observer so they can fight the lurkers.
Oh my god, so much damage. Taking out a Defiler and an Ultralisk right away.
And we do see walking into the Overlord vision range. How fast can these DTs fight Ultras? You can see that's a big investment of Ultras do get killed, but end of the day, we do see those DTs cleaned up. So Baal lost a good amount of units, and look, we're now 30 supply ahead, actually 40 at this point.
Oh, wow.
And you can see, like, Zerg so easily, once you get the supply lower, those lings become so much more effective. Lurkers will be good as well, but you can just keep making Ultras too. And I think Ver's really in a good spot. They've managed to survive all this harassment and managed to keep enough bases alive, whereas the economy is just looking so good now. Here comes that move to the top left to shut down that base. A lot of cannons here, but if there's one Defiler with this army, which I don't see one actually, so...
I mean, I think you just need some kind of splash damage to deal with these Zerg armies when they get so big. These cannons are not going to be enough to cut it.
No. I mean, with one Darkstorm, cannons are never... Like, that's why you got to do, like, Cannon Templar or Cannon Reaver. Or both, honestly. This is a big attack, though. I think you just give this one up. There is one Templar in the back, but they ain't going to kill all these Ultras. No chance.
We do see some storms here. Actually, get some of the probes in the storm, but they're all doomed anyway. There is
Zealots that are natural. They're going to try to do something, but there's a couple Ultras waiting here.
And these Ultras are so tanky against Zealots. They're definitely going to buy time for the next wave of units to shoot them out of here. And that base does get cleaned up. There was one more heroic DT trying to cut down that army, but there is an Overlord. Drone's been picked off by these Zealots, but it seems like the Protoss war machine is going to run out of steam here.
Yeah, we even see that base being retaken at the third, but a Ling's going to be able to spot it. Baal knows how far behind they are. It was a very good game, but Vert does pull it out in the end. So well done for them.
Yeah, that was a long game there.
I feel like if a game in PvZ goes long enough, it's just like, I know I'm gonna lose this game. I don't know how I'm gonna lose this game, but I'm gonna lose this game.
I feel like,
and for me, that's why I always do that 2 base power. It's like, I will not let you have a 4th base. That's the plan, 100% of the time.
Yeah, there's this like long window of time where I feel like Protoss like has to like cower in their bases and like just try to keep like 4 or 5 bases. But then once you get all of that gas going and you can afford to just go like Archon Reaver, then at some point like the Zerg army is just not good enough to fight all that splash damage.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we didn't see any Reavers at all though for the game that late, I think that is a big mistake that we saw from Baal. That if you're, especially if you're just race picking or it's like you're trying out pros for this season compared to past ones, that might be a nuance where you don't get to late game PvZ super often because usually those end 10 minutes one way or the other.
All right, in the Magenta Zerg in the top right, it's Veer, the victor of the first game, and in the bottom left, either Baal or Baal in the blue Protoss for Team GOSU. Now, I don't know. We saw a 2-gate on Polyploid the first time. I don't really expect to see that again.
Yeah, I don't want to see that again. The idea was cute, and it actually put Jedi 1 in such a good spot early, but that's the problem I have with builds like that, is that it's very easy to fumble and like slightly overcommit, or in this case we saw there being slightly too greedy, not bleeding out your advantage very slowly over time. That's what I thought he was going to do when he made that forge. It's like, oh, he's going to cans, then the Nexus. Not what we saw, so unfortunate here. Now we do see the pylon going down for Baal, and going back home doesn't make me think forge, but we saw that in the first game. Maybe they just don't know about that. And, ooh, actually Veer though. They're going to start banking a might, at least an overpull, so it won't be too punished for doing this. But they did the hatch first last game. I wouldn't be surprised to see it again.
Yeah, just waiting to find out what the build choices are from both of these players.
Well, there's some drones on the way, so definitely not the overpull at least. We'll see if it ends up being the 11 hatch. Down on the 4-player map instead of butter, I think you could sneak it out, go for the 12, like really be full economically greedy without being a complete monster. And there is that forge going with the scout after. So, and Baal, you know, if they get lucky scouting, it won't be too bad. It won't be last scout, but you know, not going immediately for a cross against the hatchery first. Won't be too bad, but if you commit to making that cannon before Nexus, you just put yourself a little bit behind, and it just doesn't feel great. Not a game losing at all, just doesn't feel good.
Right. I feel like the meta has gotten like so greedy in general. Like not even just in this matchup. I feel like pros are like trying to push it as far as they can, and then us here in the CPL, like we try to copy it, we get absolutely wrecked.
Well, I remember even like way back in the day, this is still like in the cusp of times when like Nexus first and CC first stopped being like this weird eco cheese that you saw rarely. It's like, oh no, it's stable. It's like, what do you mean it's stable? You can't make units.
It's one of those things, the more people learn about the game, the more they can get away with.
Yeah, and then it's like, if you know you can get away with 10% more, and your opponent assumes, like, well, they know how to defend it, I'm not going to pressure it. Well, then really you can do 20% or 30%. You just keep pushing it back and being crazier and crazier.
I'm interested. We don't have a third base just yet from Veer. We have one scouting drone. Is it going to build? Is it going to go for this, like, oh, here we go. So it's going to take a different natural. I think we might be seeing that older, like, larva-style turtle and a quick 4-bases Zerg. And I'm curious to see what Baal does against it, because I know I hated playing against this when it was popular.
Well, I don't like playing against it, but think about what the game we just saw. The amount of drones, the hatchery first, the way Veer played. He played this turtle Zerg on butter. He just didn't have, like, the great base location. So, like, given what we saw in the last game, I'm tremendously worried for Baal this game, because this match is going to suit it so much better, and God forbid it gets to the point where Veer needs more than 4 bases. He can lock up that top side of the map without too much issue at all.
Oh, yeah. This thing about these bases on Polyploid, like, Kind of, if you have one of them, you have three of them. Like, right, like if you control this mineral only high ground, you kind of control like the whole corner of the map around it.
Yeah, it becomes so difficult to attack in, especially attack in as Baal without putting yourself in a spot where your ears are they're dead in the water, where you can't get them back out. So
here, it seems like Baal is moving out with another scouting probe. Might be aware that there's some shenanigans going. No, oh no, turns around at the last second. Looks like maybe just trying to dodge lings here. Oh
man,
yeah, because these drones that are transferring.
Now look at this though from Veer. Fast Evo getting fast armor to make sure these lings are going to be a little extra effective early on. So yeah, this is really signifying you want to cut as many cores as you can for economy. I think we're going to see a lot of drones from Veer, which like early on as you're building everything up, it doesn't look so bad, but then like especially as they take that fourth hatchery on the top fourth core, he's going to hit like 40 drones, and it's like this doesn't look great. It's like going to be in such a bad spot. But it is delaying a lot of the tech here, and you can see if you're trying to cut these corners, you're not going to have as much anti-air. You can see you're having to get a spore instead of relying on hydras.
I think this is going to be Lingman.
Oh, this is full Lingman.
Yeah. It's going to be kind of a nightmare here for Protoss. Now, there's one thing you can do that's pretty funny is don't get +1 attack, get your own armor. Because if you don't get an attack, then like in the Zealot versus Ling matchup, it does not matter how much armor they have. But if you have armor, it'll take longer for their Lings to kill your Zealots. But it seems like we're not doing it. It seems like we're just committing to that attack.
Yeah. Now, this is very interesting what we're seeing from Baal. He's got the Corsairs on the field. He's actually getting air weapons this game, which he didn't get last game, but stopped Corsair production, which I don't like.
Yeah.
It's like if you're gonna get the +1, invest in the Corsairs, go on Overlord destroying missions. I think that's like the play. I don't like investing in the upgrade unless you're planning to cancel it if you don't see a Spire, which you can see as it goes in. Like the lair's not even close to done at this point, so you feel pretty comfortable. You can try to dominate the skies a little bit, and the fact that you haven't even seen any Hydras should be putting up a little bit of some red flags for Baal. We'll see how they react to it.
Definitely. And it seems like more Corsairs are being made despite Baal having seen that the tech from Veer is late. So I think Baal is going to try to get as much damage done with these Corsairs as possible. Try to punish Zerg for relying on spores. We'll see how well it works.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're going to keep building them up and get the +1, you could just go on raiding missions. And this is one of the better things you could do when there's these 2 bases, because if they were all turtled up like 3 bases in the top right corner, you could just throw all the overlords in one location. They're not going to be too far from each other. But when they're so split apart, it's hard to invest enough anti-air where like 6, 7 Corsairs with +1, they'll just run in and destroy everything.
Yeah, there's so many colonies going up. There's so many drones. There's like no units in the entire game for Zerg. Just these Lings hanging out at the entrance press base. There were 10 drones being made right there. This is my nightmare.
Yeah, you remember what I said? Like, oh, when that 4th base goes up, we're gonna have so many drones for no reason at all.
Disgusting.
This is the fucking Art of Turtle. He played like this all the time, and it drove me insane because like you would watch it and be like, I don't know how you beat this. Like, it looks so strong. I think like what you have to do is like you have to be ready for these Lings, but I think Baal has to be push out and take a fast 3rd to match the economy. Because, like, you're not going to have an army in time to try to punish it with an attack.
Right. I think you do what Baal is doing, try to find some weakness with the Corsairs. Look at this, like 4, 5, 6 overlords go down.
Yes.
Veer is at 50 of 13 supply right now. There's one. I think there's one overlord and a bunch of hatcheries. This is the only thing providing supply right now. So this is one way to punish them. Like you said, a fast 3rd is pretty much unstoppable. Like Zerg is not going to be able to kill you if they make all of these spores. And then maybe get like some drops because they're not going to be able to protect the overlords in the main too.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind drops at all, but then you have to be investing in Reavers, trying to do some Corsair Reaver stuff. You can see these Corsairs on the mission trying to find it. They see how defended this top left is. No drone saturation at that 4th base just yet, so still putting himself in a good spot. Tons of Overlords do spawn out here. Will the Corsairs be able to find it? And we're not seeing more reinforcements. Like, this is not like full air supremacy, ignore the spores to kill Overlords kind of style. It's just enough Corsairs to get the job done.
Right. It definitely forced out. I mean, we saw it kill so many Overlords. It forced out some more spores in the main. Like, there's 2 Sunkens in the main now, so I guess maybe Veer is worried about drops. Even getting a Spire now, maybe getting some Scourge to try to cut down on these Corsair numbers.
Well, I think what we're seeing with all this SAG defense, especially because Sunkens and Spores, I think he just doesn't want to lose all the Overlords and then DTs follow up in. Like, he wants to make sure there's enough DPS to make sure they don't get an opportunity to do any damage.
We are getting that quick third here at the mineral only. And you see, like, Veer has, like, completely retreated to his side of the map. There's no Lings here to scout. There's no Overlords just yet. We do see speed on the Overlords. Some Lings moving out to this 3 o'clock.
Yeah, but you can see the problem we're going to have. If you're going mainly Lings in this kind of style, that 3rd base, the mineral base, it's so open and easy to attack. And the other big problem is, look at Bale's probe count. What's been happening, no damage has been done. This is too low. Especially if you try and take a 3rd base. Like, it's not... It's going to help, but it's not really the focus you're looking for. And you can see Veer, because everything's all locked up with defense, he hasn't had to invest the gas and things. Queen's Nest is on the way. High will be here soon, so Defiler's going to be in play reasonably soon. DT does find a group of Lings moving around, so we'll be clean some of those up. Overwatch will help detect that and shut that down. And now we have Lurker Tech done, Lings on the map, and Ball's trying to get this base up, but it doesn't feel safe. Not yet.
Well, that DT does get punished, but the Corsairs are going to get some more kills here on these Overlords. I don't think that this is enough Lings to really threaten this base. Just the entire Protoss army is there.
No, but it's enough to run by and remind them. Look at my army. It's pretty sick, right? Ooh, good Storm goes down, kills off most of those Lings, so that definitely eliminates the threat and buys some breathing room. Especially since that supply block, even with the Lings dying, just matched natural, like a neutral number.
Man. Look at how many Suns there are all over this game. Even in the corner bases. Okay. If there's a single Zerg player who tries to tell me that Sunks are too expensive because they cost a drone, I'm going to send them this replay. Look at this. I hate this. There's so many Sunks and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I'm not going to hear any of their nonsense either. It doesn't feel particularly right, but I think like a big part of this is that Veer went so economy focused early, and Bale just didn't do the damage to it. There was like that good group of Overlord kills early, and that's kind of all the fraps we saw. No attacks in the bases, which, to be fair, they were so heavily defended they wouldn't have worked anyway. But he didn't like try to be greedy with economy to catch up. He didn't like fast tech. It's like, oh, I'm going to use these Reavers to break things open. Or a lot of gateways. It's all very middle of the road, like you're playing a normal game. And this is why I was saying, like, I'm concerned if this is how the game shakes out, because now that we have like Burrows being researched, Hive is done. You can work all your tech. All the buildup is done by Veer. Now they can start building up the army, and that supply is going to even up very quickly.
All right. We do have a drop here headed for the top left. It's a storm drop with a single zealot. The Corsairs did a good job of clearing out Scourge first. Now they're going to take a bunch of damage from Spores, which is unfortunate. Oh, the shuttle is not actually... The Templar's not actually out of the shuttle? Okay, it does drop.
Well, it's looking there, standing real intimidating. It's got two
all
storms.
The drones left.
There's no drones.
Oh my god, Veer is just... reacts so quickly there before the drop can get any damage done. We see adrenal glands in production for these Lings. They're already on 1-2. Like, this upgrade style is going to make these cracklings so absurd. We need to see big splash from Bale. We need some Archons. We're probably going to need some Reavers too. Now, this fourth base here at the 6 o'clock is going up. It is a gas base, which is really good for Protoss, but it's starting to get to that point where it's like, if you try to cover all of the fronts as Protoss, you have to be very careful with how you split your army.
Yeah, and spending the money to invest in the 6, to invest in the defense, it's just an opening for Veer to take this 12.
Right.
But they lock up 5 gas bases across the top here. They even take those mineral bases. That's just free money later on. Like, you can see this is going to be very difficult to deal with. Veer has no reason to take the 9 or the 3, not until they like get a win and get really good map control. So they're just going to keep building up here. And that supply, just a minute ago, was a 40 supply difference. Now it's even. And drops are being researched. Like, this is going to become a problem very quickly here. Now, we just see a group down by that 6 o'clock. It's a lot of links and some lurkers. Those 3 cans are not going to be enough to defend that.
I looked at there was even another base trying to be taken here by the Protoss in the very bottom right is going to be shut down. And you're right, these 3 cans are not going to do anything. Maybe with the Zealots blocking the ramp, but they're not. These lurkers are going to get up here. The Nexus is done. There have already been probes transferred here. This is going to be a pretty rough...
Straight for the Nexus. He doesn't care about anything.
Look at that. It's so ridiculous. Oh my god, with all these units here, they still just kill the Nexus first. Lings are so stupid.
I don't know what you're talking about. This core unit, this like $25 a piece, like Happy Meal unit. Like,
yeah, you just
what do you mean?
Oh my god, that used to happen so much in StarCraft 2. That was the single most upsetting thing that could happen to me, was where like I had units at a base, and the enemy just right-clicked on my Nexus and killed my Nexus faster than I killed their army. It feels so bad.
I mean, there was a giant period in StarCraft 2 where I played Zerg instead of Protoss, and I remember, especially when it first came out, the 1 supply roaches with 2 armor. Oh my god, it was great. Yeah, that's exactly what he did. He's like, this Nexus, you'll never stop me.
Oh no.
More pressure going in. Look at this. This streams on the mini-map all over the place. So many goons are here, but this is like upgraded crack lanes. Where are the storms?
I know we saw Reavers in production. Oh my god, I don't think there are some storms in the left flank of this fight. Finally, in the right side, but so much has gone down already, and you see from the mini-map, just the Zerg hose is on.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter that this is an inefficient trade. Like, you killed a base down at the bottom, so you're not mining from that 6. It has to get rebuilt here. You got plenty of money to spend and burn with here. If you can kill off some of these units, then Baal has to go through and reinforce. While you have 4 hatcheries in the top left, plus 2 more at the natural. You got 3 at the main natural and the 1 in the main. It's like there's so much production available, and it's like we haven't even seen the switch to ultras that we saw in the last game, which when Veer gets frustrated or like tired of this, I'm sure that's exactly the move that's going to happen.
Definitely. By the way, I like this lurker here that's in between the 2 bases, but it missed like all of his shots against these probes. Oh, we have a drop setting out here. It gets caught immediately. And is Baal trying to take this base? Are you serious? Why else is this pylon here? You're gonna build like a shield battery? Maybe I guess like a shield battery for the Reavers or something. But this is very bold.
I don't know if this is taking the base that this might be cannons.
Maybe. Well,
like free vision, free extra defense here, and you look at this. Lurker's just walking up, taking the storm. They don't even care here. So many Hydras and Lings behind us anyway. Reavers here going to be able to help do damage. Storm is going down as well, but without Zealots to kind of eat this up and cause a little extra time, you can see how much damage got taken here. Veer does even up the supply again with another good fight. Still has a worker lead, and that pylon isn't going to be able to set up any kind of siege. Veer has so much money left over, and it's a lot of larva to spend. We'll see how they spend it, and I just see Lings to production and finally consume being started.
Yeah, oh my god. I don't even want to think about the filers in this game right now. Veer just got, like, this is like the game that he wanted to play right now, and it's just, he's gonna rally everything at the Protoss, and it's just like mathematically impossible for the Protoss to get up an army that can deal with it.
Even if they do, look at the left side. Overlord's creeping through. They got some up. They got some units to drop.
Yeah, fortunately, it's only Hydras, right? It's not Cracklings.
Yeah, it could be so much worse.
Yeah. Oh my god, the third base is completely cleared out right now.
The natural, that's 6 o'clock again. Just Ling's going to stream in. Cans aren't going to be able to do the job without splash damage. Reinforcements over at the natural too. Just Veer attacking from every side, making use and throwing them in. Doesn't really care how they do, and that is slowly gaining a real good supply lead. There's that Ultras Cavern on the way. 22 groups of Lings, and Baal's doing everything it can to survive, but it's not going to be enough. Zerg takes another one after this heavy drone style. It's like, how do you stop? Every time I watch it, it's like, how do you stop this? I have no idea.
Oh my god. I think, I don't know. I just think you have to do more before Zerg gets to that point, but don't ask me what it is. So, maybe it's not you that gives me the bad replays. Maybe I'm just cursed, and I always get replays where the Protoss loses.
Well, we could test this theory. Switch to Zerg, and then see if all the games you cast are Zerg losing. It's for the good of the league.
Right, like,
So
I think, like, even if I played
Zerg,
Zerg, I would still want Zerg to lose.
yeah, a little bit. I could feel that. Okay, so it's Stan. I'm like, who the hell's Stalin? That's what you Yeah, I was like, oh man, iRk's got a fresh new player. I wouldn't be surprised.
How does this keep... I don't understand how I get muted randomly sometimes. Anyway, in the top right, in the kind of sad yellow color, it's the Leopardized player Grassed, and in the bottom right, in the red, it's Stanel.
Sad yellow, it's olive, man. It looks clean. It looks crisp.
It does not look crisp. It looks like it needs to be, like, washed. Like, it looks like if you washed these probes, they would be a different color at the end of it. These probes have, like, the grime of several battles on them right now.
Yeah, it's like the maximum camouflage. They're dirty. They've been lying in the butter fields for days. It's like, I need a shower, man. It's like, you don't deserve a shower.
Alright, so I like this matchup. I might be like the only person on Earth who likes PvP. I feel like even Protoss players.
I love PvP, man.
Okay,
I'm on board.
Good.
I get it.
Yeah.
Now, what do you like on a two-player map like this? Are you a 10-12 boy?
I'm a 10-12
go for
boy.
the 2 game.
But this is like, I feel like so many of the maps in the map pool this season are just like auto pick 10-12. This map I think is actually like, I kind of like 1 gate because like it's so long that like the 2 gate pressure is gonna be a bit weaker, and with 1 gate you can get up to like DTs or 3 gate goon, which are pretty good on these, like, on the maps with the flat choke, right?
Yeah, I don't mind doing 3-gate observer. I think that's a real strong way because it's nice and safe too. Make sure you're not losing any kind of weird shenanigans, usually the muscle, and especially if you can on a map like this, if your opponent tries to be greedy and expand a little bit, you can get the cancel, get that great concave to get your own. Like, I think if you just play that build well, it can put you in a good spot. But it does always put you in the realm if your opponent is a Reaver god, if it's snow in hiding, and then
right.
kind of in trouble.
It looks like both players going for that 1 gate this time, getting the scouting probe in there, being really annoying.
Yeah, but look at Stanel. This is, considering their builds are pretty much the same, this is very unoptimized from Stanel so far. You like late on putting guys in the gas, the pylon's significantly later than the opponent, like cyber cores, like everything is just significantly later for no particular reason. I wonder if it's just like, you know, early morning game, you're not like in the mix yet or what.
Yeah, it could be maybe thinking about something like thinking about the plan for the game or something. I do that all the time, or like I play like 4 PvZs in a row and then it's a PvP and I just like send my probe out to my natural for some reason. Like that's what happens to me all the time.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, you know, lurkers run up into your natural, you throw a question mark.
Yeah, exactly. Like the next frame is when I saw those lurkers, and I was like, oh wow, that's the fastest karma I've ever had. But look at this. Speaking of shenanigans, we have Grass with the pylon at the third base, whatever clock that is. I don't want to think about that right now.
Right, so
could be for proxy, or could be for just to look for drops later.
Do you want to talk about something that's happening in Grass Main, or do you want to just acknowledge that mistakes happen?
Oh.
Take a look. You see it. I know you see it.
I have never. I don't think I've ever seen a second core in PvP. What is going, or like, unless it's carriers ever. What is? So is this going to be like some godlike carrier build, or is this literally just a mistake? It's so weird because like the core like range was started, right? Like you can't have like forgotten that you built the core. What? That's so weird.
So like, there's also this late mana pylon in the fucking mineral. Like this is maximum confusion in the build. It's like, I'm gonna be thinking I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, turns out it is gonna be proxy, and I guess if you have 2 cores, maybe the goons build faster, right? So you can proxy more goons out of these gateways. This is interesting. I've like never seen a game like this, so we're gonna see what happens.
Yeah, well, I think these proxy gateways, I wonder if there's a part of it's like, oh man, I messed up my build. It's like just all right. Well, we're gonna have to go in. We're going in, boys. This is not a great way you want to start this, but at least the framework of what we're seeing, and I like that Grass is at least taking the risk. It's like, all right, something is wrong here. I'm going to skip detection. So we just see 3 gateways, which will be able to produce a good amount of army, maybe get contained and bleed out. And Stanel is not going for detection of their own. We do see that is a robo.
Caster Curse got the observatory. As soon as you said that.
Yeah, like they're like in my head, I was like, oh, they're not getting DTs. It's like I said the wrong thing in my head, but like so the army power between the two will be pretty even. But Grass having to cut probes to kind of catch up for the early mistake, finally now going to start producing again. Like the tech being significantly delayed as well. Now, if they can get on like this high ground, get a good fight in the middle of the map, you should be good. Or if they want to be the first one to take their expansion, I think there's definitely opportunities where Grass could make up for what happened here. But running forward here, taking a lot of free shots, but they do outnumber on the goons. Reinforcements go forward. Looks like they're going to poke at that Zealot, try to focus fire the best they can. And it looks like there might be in a good spot here. Those fast reinforcements from the proxy could be doing good work here. The micro is not looking too bad at all.
Yeah, Stanel trying to focus down the weakened goons first, but with the numbers advantage here, it's just too much, and like Grass is going to force these probes to be pulled so the goons can't be picked off one by one as they come out of these gateways. I think this probe count is going to equal out pretty quick here.
Yeah, I mean, just the damage can keep snowballing here. As long as the reinforcements went in the main, don't hang out in the natural. Like this is so important to not mess with the reinforcements to keep that macro flowing between these 2 players here. You can see Grass is starting to build up money, so as this kind of narrows out, there's going to be opportunity to get your tech going or go for Nexus. The probe's doing not insignificant damage, trying to help clear this out the best they can. Both sides, though, just running on fumes as far as the army goes. If either player can get a significant advantage, it's going to really help them out here. I'd say Grass has done enough to at least set up a contain, maybe take a Nexus if they have the site to do it.
Yeah, we are seeing pro production and a robo coming out of Grass. I don't think we're going to see an expansion. I think we're just going to rally all these buildings into Stanel and hope that it works.
Yeah, I don't like that though. I think a big part of why some people don't like this matchup is not knowing when they have a lead and how to abuse it. You can be like constantly attacking here. That's going to put you in more trouble than it's worth. Absolutely.
Yeah, Stanel's slowly wearing down the attacking waves of goons, but several pros went down. A ton of mining time was lost here. So I think Grass is definitely just a little bit ahead after that fight. But what is gonna be done with it? No, we got 3 goons running away from 3 goons right now.
Yeah, this needs to be careful to not lose control of this, because unlike Stanel here, if Grass loses control of the middle of the base and has to play defensive, he has 2 gateways floating around in the middle of the map. They'll be easy to pick off. The Observer does get into the grass space a while ago, so it does know that they are on the map somewhere. It's not one gateway worth of production of goons. So,
can you imagine if Stan was like, how am I losing? I have 3 gateways to 1. What's going on right now?
I mean, he worked his way up to tier 0. He better not think anything like that. Yeah. He knows better. Now, Grass, you got the Robo, but like, there's no observatory, right? And there's no like support bay to get Reavers. I don't like that we're seeing a forge for ground up. I think that's a trap. Like going for ground upgrades early.
I think I know what's happening. So I think this is a build I bet that Grass has done before, and it's either won right away or lost right away, right? This is one of those weird games where like you do a cheese and the game doesn't end. So you're like, who's the head? What do I do next? I don't know. It's like what if you do like a proxy 2-gate and like you kill the Zerg's expansion, but you can't kill the main? Like, what do you do now? Like, I don't know. Right? Like,
yeah. Like you do an attack, it's like, well, this should have won or lost, but it's like, oh, it's kind of there. Like, yeah. Those are definitely weird games to navigate, but I think Stalen's doing a much better job because they're doing their normal build and they're just surviving. Eventually, they're going to build up to a normal mid game that they were used to playing 100 times.
Right. Yeah. The forge is definitely a big mistake. Like, we already have a Robo. Like, why are we getting a cannon? We know that there's no DTs. You've been in his base. You saw 3 gateways on the Robo. Oh, man.
I mean, I don't mind the cannon as if you're worried about like a Reaver defense, but you can be in the base and you can see there's no support bay. Literally, you're not worried about Reavers. And that's also just like a bad solution to the problem because Reavers can just snipe down cannons. Right. Like, it's not difficult to do.
Ooh, so
ooh, okay.
But
whatever you can get, not bad.
Maybe it's a bait to pull it out of position. I don't know.
Yeah, but like, think about how this game's going. Grass has been in stale space the entire time. He could have taken that Nexus so long ago.
Right.
But now he's taking it. He's working on these pylons, and you actually see Stanel has an opportunity building up a little bit more goons here. Grass not trying to use high ground or anything, trying to take a fight in the middle of the map, and it looks like the focus fire is actually pretty good for Grass, all things considered, doing a decent job trying to win this fight, or at least even up the numbers the best they can.
2 goons against 2 goons here in the middle of the map. So much blue goo all over the place.
All the ice cream just being spilled all over the floor. It's just a shame. They just want their frozen treat. It's no big deal.
Stanel does manage to hold on, but I think the real story is that Grass is getting that Nexus and a support bay back at home.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Like, finally getting Reavers to help defend this because he's starting to lose control of this expansion. Now, I hate this. If you're gonna get a shuttle, like you're gonna support bay and you're gonna get the shuttle and Reaver,
right.
Shuttle, then support bay.
Right, yeah, the timing works out pretty much perfectly. If you go shuttle and then the bay. Otherwise, this you have a bunch of wasted time on the Robo. But anyway, great about the Robo. We got Goon against Goon action. You know you love it. It's gonna be just continuing back and forth here.
Yeah, you can see just slowly working on these pylons, which you do want to get them out of the way. That will be useful, but if you get caught firing on these pylons and Stanel manages to poke out here, they got the bigger number of goons here. Raz doing a good job making sure they're not getting caught out and taking too much free damage here. But if they want to just keep pressure on, I don't think the situation's bad. Their tech is actually a little further along now, all things considered. And actually trying to take another fight in the middle, but Stanel does have that defender's advantage. More goods poking out, but the focus fire from Grass is a little bit better here. So again, I think we're going to see another pretty even fight. I think finally, though, Stanel just has that numbers advantage, should be enough to force it back. But 2 of those goons are on death's door, about to die. And since Grass had to give us up, these 2 gateways are now not going to be able to produce units anymore.
Oh, they're about to make 2 goons, which could be some free kills here. No, they are going to get away, just barely. Alright, what is going on here? We have cannon coming up in the natural of Grass. Might actually kill this observer that's hanging out. More gateways being added. Trying to make use of that extra income. We have Stanel not going for Reavers, going for a Citadel.
I'm torn on that. It depends if he wants to use it for speed for the Zealots for like early mid game power. If he's just gonna buy time until he gets Storm, because Snail's actually still up on probes now that both expansions are up. The Durkheim is actually looking a little bit better. And we do see Grass actually getting speed for the shuttle. So when everything gets all set up for these Reavers, speed shuttles can be so devastating in this matchup. I like that choice as long as you have the control to handle it. We do see Zealots being made and speed, which if your opponent's going to Reavers, that's an easy way to kind of throw away a bunch of units for free. But if you can make more, that's not bad.
Yeah, Reavers are so good against Zealots. They clump up so well. But if it is like a fight out in the open, Speed Zealots can definitely get the drop on goons. So it can be pretty micro intensive, I think. Yeah, this fight does that.
Looks like Grass is going to be the first one to start putting pilots on the map to help spot drops if necessary. But Stanley's moving out here with a lot of goons at this point. I think there was a probe that moved out and saw what was going on, or maybe just some unit out there saw some shots getting fired. The probe definitely sees this move out, so Stanley's going to be able to walk up to the natural and set up a pretty decent concave. But they don't have the Reaver, that extra muscle to kind of go through, so have to be very careful about if they're going to collapse on the fight. There must be a bad rally for these probes, which is just worst thing to ever find. It's like, when I was making probes, I was doing great. It's like, you're just sitting in the middle of the map. Pokes forward, sees the defense, immediately backs off. But Stanley, big unit supply lead, gonna have that map control and buy time to get some of these upgrades rolling as speed for Zealots are about to finish. But like I said, the speed shuttle, that upgrade's finished. There could be opportunity for Grass to go do some big harassment, and he loads him up, gonna go for the move. We'll see where he goes. Sail's actually going to take a third base behind this as well. Grass won't be great against that, but knowing the Sail recognizes, and actually Grass, not going for Grass, just going to try to move out here. Sail has a lot of units off to the left side, not involved in the fight.
Yeah, I'm not sure what those units are doing. They need to get over here as fast as possible. This is what they want. They want to fight these Reavers in the big open field. The shuttle gets picked off, but I think there might just be enough on the ground here for Grass. Reaver's doing so much damage. One does go down, but now Grass has the advantage in goons. It's going to be Stanley retreating here. Yeah,
but even everything considered, like Stanley's still up significantly on workers trying to take the third nexus behind this as well. So Grass hold on, and I wonder if that's what they're thinking, because they don't have observers all over the map kind of taking a look at things. It's like, oh, you're taking this expansion, you don't have a whole lot of other stuff. You just feel like, oh, I survived that attack, and you're comfortable with that spot. Stanley can keep leaning into this lead they're trying to build.
Yeah, so you're I think Stanley's taking a big risk trying to get this base. I mean, especially having just lost that fight. But like you said, Grass just doesn't have the map vision to know what's going on. Doesn't feel confident enough to move out here. It does help that a shuttle was killed, so Reavers couldn't be brought along with any kind of offensive move here. Stanley just needs to macro as hard as possible right now to get out as many units as he can.
Yeah, it's still wild to me. We just see now Stanley adding on the Temple Archives for 16 minutes, and Stanley had no source of splash damage, which that is such an easy way to put yourself in a bad spot in this matchup. Grass didn't make advantage of it, though, and wait, do you see another shuttle has been made? Is there going to be a move to try to do some harass this time? A Reaver is loaded at the natural. The armor's going to start bleeding out into the map. And Grass actually taking their own third base, and they're both taking it on that right side, which, okay, sure. I don't like it.
I just feel like it feels better to defend because of the narrow ramp.
See, I agree with that, but if you have your army over by that 3 o'clock in that lane, you have nothing in the middle. It's so easy to just be out of position. It's like I don't know if I'd actually want to take a third base in this. I think I'd rather just be on 2 base and pressuring, try to do some harassing your opponent out. It's just so hard to move your army in a way that doesn't put you at risk on this map.
Ooh, the shuttle for Grass just goes home. Not sure what that's about. Might have been a miss.
Pick up a second Reaver, maybe?
Natural now. Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay, I thought it just left, and then there's about to be a fight. But with the shuttle speed, it's not that much of a loss. Both players
it just goes back deuces. It's like, I'm not fighting anybody.
Yeah, see you, nerds. We have Storm being researched, but how many Templar do we even have? We have 2 Templar and 1 Archon, but the Templar are pretty fresh, so they don't have the energy just yet. I don't think Grass can give to him.
Oh,
no! This Templar is just so precious right now.
Oh no, he's gonna lose the other one. Not enough energy for the Storm.
No,
so
what is going on with these?
Gone.
Oh no. Well, Stanel is going to try to collapse on this army here. Oh, it gets a huge surround, picks off the Reavers in the back. The Archon goes down for Stanel at the bottom, but I think there's so many goons here. The Reavers are getting picked off, and the shuttle as well. All these Zealots are fighting this pylon. I have no idea who's going to come out ahead in this fight right now.
This feels very reset to neutral, but I think those Zealots from Grass are going to be the swayer that's going to make this kind of go through a little bit. And you see reinforcements are going to roll through, so just barely enough to get that fight lead. But Stanel's still up 10 probes here. That's about the supply lead between the two. No cans or defense at the natural. Grass is going to keep trying to move forward. Reinforcements going to show up as well, so if they can get some damage done, it won't be bad. But look at Stanel, 5 DTs in production, and there are no observers here for Grass. This is like, this could be that wake-up call. It's like, oh yeah, I knew I forgot something. Oh no. Actually, he doesn't have an observatory at all, even though he has the Reavers. He has the shuttle. Like, he just did make an observatory.
I thought there was one at some point. No, there is. There's an observer from Grass coming out right now, but no, and it's here because he's hitting my DTs.
Oh, then why do you put the observatory? Am I blind?
Dude, I don't know what's going on in this game.
Oh, it's up at the top by the sim. I hate that when it's like hidden in the corner. Be nice to the casters. Don't hide your buildings.
Yeah, build them in the middle of the map, like Grass. It's much easier to see.
But the units get cleaned up again. Stanley's still with that worker lead looking pretty good. And they got that third base first, so we can't forget that. Working on some of these temple archives, Grass going to start the storm of their own. But they already have speed shuttles. They already have access to Reavers and stuff as well. And you can see, trying to do damage up at the natural. It gets a little bit done, but not too much. The does finally die. The Stanley's got all these DTs, just a mountain of walking DPS flying around, but that's not a lot of Dragoons. It's not a lot of splash damage to kind of account for here. So Grass gets a decent army together, might be in a good spot, but they have significantly less gateways than Stanel, like half of them. It's kind of crazy, actually.
Yeah, Stanel has been on the higher pro count for longer, so able to produce out of all these gateways. Oh, and a High Templar for Grass gets picked off in the middle of the map, repaying the favor from those Stanel Templars earlier.
Yeah, now see, this is like the biggest thing I'm concerned with, which I guess it could happen anywhere. Basically, look where Stanel's positioning. Because he's in a great spot, like, he can put pressure on the natural and also just send a little bit over to this third base without too much reinforcement. Storm's going down from Stanel, doing some pretty decent damage. Not a lot of Zealots or anything here. Grass is going to finally try to defend this as best they can, but lost so many probes to this third base. They only have to kill the next at this point. You've done so much economic damage to Stanel. The army is going to get cleaned up, and you can see that supply gap is basically just the work count, but man, what a work count difference it is.
Oh my god, this Nexus is getting so low, but it does survive with 200 HP. By the way, if those Zealots were cracklings like we saw earlier, they would have killed that Nexus in like 2 seconds, by the way. just so you know.
I would trade 20 MMR to turn my Zealots into cracklings to win that game for 20 MMR. Like, it would be net neutral. It'd be like, no, just give me the cracklings. Oh, that'd be beautiful. Another observer goes down for Stanel. Grass got an army together. And considering how much damage they just took, I don't mind this decision. Try to consolidate the army. Try to go for some kind of attack, because that Nexus over at the third is so low. A couple Zealots just run in. There's no way you defend it in time. It will die at some point here. And Stanel's even going to just take a fourth base over at that bottom left side instead. So we'll see what they can do. But Grass, big army in the center of the map, going to keep pushing forward. No splash damage, though. A couple Templar lagging behind, but it's not in the fight just yet. We'll see when he chooses to attack, as Stanel keeps rebuilding with the superior economy and gateway count.
Alright, so Grass is out here moving, trying to find some weakness in the defense of Stano. Seems like Stano's trying to get this base over here on the left side of the map, but is blocked by a pylon for like 10 minutes ago, and Grass is going to send some units over here to deny that. Same time, Stano is going to try to charge up this high ground here while the army of Grass is split up. Huge storm on these goons. Oh my god, one more. Oh man, Stano's having a hard time getting this attack to work here.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised to see Sam try to force up the ramp with no zealots or no kind of front line, all this goons instead. And see, these storms for Grass really trying to do a big damage here. Even out the supply count, like given what they have, they're doing a pretty good job morphing into Archons as well. But this should be pretty easy to defend back at home. Stale's got plenty of gateways to make reinforcements. And even has a couple goons for Grass going back home here because Stale sent some zealots, so I'm going to be able to stop this pressure, I think, but still did a great job. Manages to even up the supply count despite the workers, and so Grass, everything they can do, they're trying to do the best they can.
Dude, I feel like this game has been a constant fight for like 20 minutes. Like, it's just been these players just like slaving their armies into each other just over and over.
It definitely feels that way, which it does beg the question, especially for Grass. They have speed shuttles. Like, when fights are so even and nothing, like that's not the breaking point, dropping a little bit of harass to make your opponent like pull back for that's all you need to break that game open. It's so easy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we haven't seen it.
Alright, Stano trying to take this much more conservative base here on the low ground. At the same time, Grass takes their own base. Both players heading up to 4 bases now. So we might be entering a little bit of a peaceful period here while both players build back up.
Yeah. Well, now that we're 25 minutes in and we're going to 4 base Protoss for Grass, it's unacceptable. He has 6 gateways. That is completely not acceptable anymore. It was cool when you're being aggressive and trading army anyway, where you're not going to build it up. But at a certain point, you have to actually be like, all right, we're going to the late game and prepare to go to the late game.
The thing is, like, both players are getting pretty close to mining out their naturals, and Stano is getting close to mining out his 3rd, right? So it's like Stano's about to be on 1 mining base. Like, Grass is about to be on 2. So there's, it's not really going to be like a true like 4 or 5 base economy, right?
No, not at all. But it's just the fact that it's like you've mined so much, trading so much back and forth, and it's like, what was the high supply we saw? 140, and then they immediately had to fight and knock that down. Because I mean, listen, we don't get the 200 with Protoss here. It's like, if you get the 200, you should have been attacking more. And it's like, just imagine like where this game began. 2 cores on accident, proxy 2 game. Like,
yeah.
There's all this nonsense, and it's like blend to a very real game. So they're transferring all their probes over to that new base. So I think they really have to focus on at least getting that bottom left base really secured, and maybe even the 9 o'clock. Like, focus purely on defense and just try to get yourself in a good position. Because that's how Grass like even this up. Getting attacks where Stano was out of position, splitting up their army to be in a good spot. And Grass just did this one punch attack that had enough muscle behind it that Stano couldn't fight it.
I like how Stano keeps trying to mix in these DTs. Like, maybe he'll forget his observer this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, why not? It could work. Absolutely.
Yeah, especially because there are 2 observers here in front of Stano, so maybe he's going to try to focus on sniping the observers of Grass.
Well, again, because this is what happens on Butter with 3 vertical lanes to move through. These armies are nowhere near each other. Your ass is going to move forward, and that third base that Stano took is nearing being mined out. So that's not a valuable target to go for. But Stano, it looks like they're going to go to top left. That is Grass 4th base area, and it will help them secure the 9. So Stano's positioning, I like what we're seeing here. If Grass sees this, they could just go for the natural, go for the production, cut out the reinforcements. Like, this game could get very weird depending on how these players want to position.
Oh yeah, like seeing a base trade after 30 minutes of PvP would be nuts. Like, can you imagine?
I mean, base trade PvP sucks to begin with. It's like you don't have cracklings, you don't have like siege stacks. Like, like you do good damage, but it's not like this overwhelming. Let's base trade. Now Grass does stun some zealots over to that third base, but again, it's barely mined out. This is a pretty big investment for. It will clean up, but it's not even worth saving if we're completely honest here. That does mean Grass Army is a little bit weaker here, but Stanley's not taking the fight to try to take the attack.
Yeah, I don't feel like what is this, 4 zealots is gonna 5 zealots really gonna tip this fight either way. Like I feel like this fight is gonna come down to a positioning and storms, right?
Absolutely, and I mean even it could be like a little bit of Reavers here if either player want to mix them in. Reavers are super good at dealing with Archons, so you get that maximum damage on the hits.
Yeah, and look at the units of Stanley are pretty spread out here. They managed to come back in time, just in time to get stormed all over them. Huge storms. The DTs are in here, but there are observers on the field for Grass. And I think Stanley is going to have to retreat. Was like, despite being up on this high ground, was in a bad position. And look at how many Archons there are for Grass. They're so beefy here.
Yeah, I mean, Grass is actually started doing worse in this fight now that he's trying to force his way up the high ground. The cardinal rule: don't send goons to fight goons up a ramp. It tends to not work out well, but Grass still just has enough army left over here. The Storm's doing so much work. The Archons definitely ate a lot of damage. Reinforcements are going to come through as well, and I think Grass is going to be able to clear out this army in the middle of the map. And then look at this: Grass finally has a supply lead, and they're up by damn near 50. Where'd this come from?
Wow, I think just this fight, like we've seen this, like each fight, it feels like just gets a bit better for Grass. And it's not really because of like having more gateways, like we've been saying, or having more economy. It seems like Grass just does better in these fights, like just a little bit better, right? And it just keeps compounding.
I mean, we saw it early on as well. Like even just those early goon fights, the focus fire was a lot better from Grass. I think they're doing better with storms, with the positioning, the concaves. Like, yeah, everything's just a little bit better for Grass. And now, if you're playing here as Stanley, you lose this long game. Like, you had this economic lead, you had the production lead, and you still lost these fights. I'm actually curious to see, will Stanley adapt their strategy to do something early game to not let it get to this point? Like, if they don't feel comfortable with it?
I don't think this game will end. I think it'll be on forever. Like this is one of those PvPs that just it just does not end. You just throw it right at each other for the entire game. Like, more minerals will spawn. It will never end. Like,
I mean, geysers never fully deplete, so
right.
you can just keep making Templar.
Yeah, just mass arcing each other. We have one more big fight here. Storm's going down on both sides, but once again, Grass getting a slight lead here, keeping a lot of these Templar alive. This is the real value center of this army for Grass right now.
Yeah, and I think Grass, because they were realizing how well they're winning this fight, look at this. They're taking a base over at that 10 o'clock. They're also taking the 3 o'clock. And Stanley's not going to really have the muscle to kind of go through these. Storms are trying to go down, and Stanley, without that many years, trying to fight as best they can. Grass doesn't have that much more left on the field. Having to work Archons out of some of these Templar. Still plenty of Zealots trying to go through. And now we're late enough where I could say I was talking shit on the Forge, but Grass having +3 weapons compared to Stanley's 2-1, that might be helping out a pretty significant amount here as well.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of these Protoss units scale pretty well with the attack upgrade here, especially when the opponent has no armor. It seems like Grass might be forcing the way in here. Stanley is running out of money.
Yeah, they still got the 2 bases mining, so it's not like they're completely on fumes, but now Grass is by the production. Like, reinforcements aren't going to be able to move out if he keeps like throwing things in here. You start working on killing off some of these gateways, you're going to be in such a great spot, because how are you going to be able to like reinforce to defend them? And Grass doesn't even have to force the issue. They got way more bases at this point. They don't have to do anything.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, with these bases getting up, I mean, this is such a huge deal. Like, this is a 2-player map. And the base count is not that high. It's totally possible to just have all of the bases be taken, and Grass is giving himself a big lead here in that base count. Now, it seems like Stanley is trying to get this base on the left here, which for some reason has more minerals than the one on the right. But I don't think Grass is going to let that happen, right? Like, as soon as Grass sees that base, he's going to shut that down.
Wait, it has more than the one on the right? Don't they both have 8?
The one on the right, it's only 1,000 minerals and 3,000 gas, and the one on the left is like the full value on each one.
I guess because it's further away from the mains. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
I guess it's weird to me because, well, we'll talk about that later because there's a fight going on. Well,
yep.
Yeah, both players not really want. They don't want to engage just yet. So maybe we do have time. I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah, there was a poke going on, and Grassic is going to keep poking the bear down at this third base over here. Their army is, like, they still slowly grow the supply lead, and the army comp is still looking a little bit better. A couple goons do go a little bit forward, but is that could bait them into the fight? Playing Temple ready to get some good more storms going. You know, Stalen has to be very careful without too much money more banked up. They can't keep taking these bad fights. They're going to have to consolidate, try to get something going here. Storm goes down, doesn't do damage to cannons, unfortunately. Stan's got plenty of stuff at the natural, but if Grass can get those units at the natural while the stuff at the third can't defend it, this would be so big. What a great fight he could be taking. He's not trying to force it, though.
Yeah, I mean, when you're 34 minutes into a game, you don't want to throw away your lead by making a bad attack, right? Like, I've done that so many times. So
when you see what he gave up the position, that let Stale consolidate. That was kind of the concern I didn't want to see happen here, but still, Grass has a supply lead, still throwing out some pretty good storms to get the value out of the damage. Camping that high ground, trying to bait Stale into taking like a move up high ground into a bad spot. But Stale, they're also just trying to take that Nexus over at the 9 o'clock. The army is very split up right now, though. Don't know if they're trying to go for a flank.
Well, I think they are. I think Stale is trying to surround the army of Grass here, maybe. Could probably be a surprise.
A lot of stuff going over to that 9 o'clock Stale. It's like, I need to make sure this doesn't just kill, so he wants to stay in position for it. But it's like, if you're going to do that, then you can move your army in position, maybe take out that 10 o'clock base, that Grass take, that has 2 cannons of defense and nothing else. The army is so out of position to do anything about it. I think this is just a rough spot for Stale because Grass is not moving his army apart. It's staying as one giant clump, so you don't want to like just give up a position and put yourself in a bad spot. And look, the commitment over to the 10 o'clock, but Grass is moving over to the left. Now that army's cut off, and Grass is going to be able to take up that fight straight up as much as they like.
So the base is done for, but I think Grass is going to keep this army from being able to retreat here. And the rest of the units of Stano are just hanging out at the bottom half of the map. There might be a chance for a fight if it was like a two-front battle here, but as it is, I think Grass is just going to clean it up.
Yeah, and killing that Nexus is nice, but we can see Grass has plenty of money banked up, and for the amount of army Stano just lost, that was not worth it. Not even close.
Yeah, and now the second half of Stano's army is here now that the fight's over. It's going to be hard to defend this 9 o'clock base with this.
Oh, this is the Grass. We got to move up. So many Archons, plenty of units. Doesn't bring everything just immediately, but plenty of storms available as well. Even with Templar in the front line to inspire confidence as he keeps charging forward, throwing down storms down to just Dragoons for Stanel. Grass again, just another big fight. High ground advantage is at least helping Stanel, but it's not going to be enough. Taking another big win. That supply lead is getting out of control now. They're hitting about 80 now as Sale's army on the map gets wiped out, and now that base over the 9 o'clock, that's super vulnerable. The base right below it, that's also super vulnerable. Grass can go attack whenever they like.
Yeah, I think this might be the end here for Stanel, that even this 9 o'clock base is going down. There's just not that many reinforcements coming out. But Grass has managed to keep this big army alive through all these fights, which is going to make it possible to actually kill some bases here.
Yeah. Stanel's trying to reinforce and save that 9 o'clock base, so that means there's more army not in position. You can see Grass setting up right outside the natural, maybe going for the jugular to kill off their production, or definitely at least kill off these reinforcements. It looks like, though, Stanel for now saves that 9 o'clock base. Gonna have to keep fighting reinforcements. Grass big army, though, moving up to that section, and Stanel, they're not gonna be able to escape, and they definitely don't have enough muscle to win this fight.
And Grass really, we talked about this before, Grass could have just gone in there, but Grass does not want to lose. I feel like Grass wants to not lose more than they want to win right now. which is a feeling that I have a lot. It's like I just don't want to throw this game.
I mean, just remember there's that extra part. If you lose this game after this long and the opening was like so tight knit, you could just go, that second cyber core, man. That second cyber core fucked up everything.
Oh man. Oh god, these two goons in the front blocking the entire army of grass up the ramp. That's Protoss, but we have some more units going down this ramp. There's like more Templar than there are probes at this base.
Yeah, where's that auto attack they gave him in StarCraft 2? So they can just like tickle him to death. They could be useful right now.
Oh my god. Storms are finally going down. I think this might be the last hurrah for Sandal here.
Yeah, 280 supply, losing the workers, lost one of the very important mining bases. That fourth base for Sandal about to run out as well, and Grass still doing a great job focusing on his fights. Storm's doing so much damage. Even Templar's getting rallied, just going to get picked off here. And yeah, I think despite how this game opened, Grass did a great job finding some good fights and just slowly clawing the lead out of this one. And just, again, this is game one. Like,
oh my god, this is game one. Oh no.
The mental fortitude that Grass has, like, no, I'm going to stay in this game. I'm not going to lose this one. And then it's like, you got to go play the rest of the series. The fatigue.
Oh no. There you go. Sandal does tap out. And that's the end of our 39-minute game one here of our third series of the day. And I don't know about you, Saetzero, but I need like a 5-minute like bathroom break just to like breathe. So
no, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that real quick. Can you chill?
I can chill, I suppose.
All right.
Don't twist my arm.
Okay. I'll be right back, everybody.
Sounds good. Well, you heard the magic word, shilling what we're doing in CPL. Did you know we're casting tomorrow? We are. It's going to be me and Cole Warp Gates again. Neblime is unfortunately unavailable to help me cast, but that just means you get all the Protoss buys that you never knew you wanted. We're going to be casting something a little bit lower tier, to be determined, probably around like a tier 2 level. That's going to start tomorrow, probably around 6 o'clock, same time as today. It'll be good. I think Veer is casting sometime on Thursday, so that'll be good. And we probably have some more stuff set up over the weekend. We've been doing a great job getting a lot of casts done, which if you haven't seen them, they will be on the YouTube. You can check that out, subscribe to that, and show your friends what we're all about this season. I feel like we've had a lot of great games this season so far. Other than that, regular season has been trucking on. Hopefully everyone's doing having a good time and doing their best. But playoffs will be getting reasonably soon. I'm sure you'll be getting some info on Discord soon about all that kind of stuff. And make sure you're playing on the proper version of Butter. That's been a problem a little bit this season. So if you are unsure, go download that map pack again. Just be sure you got the right version. Protoss complaining conference. Listen, Protoss never complains. They tactically explain their point of view, and then maybe they were thinking too high level to match your strategies. Like, I'm playing on layer 20 of the mind game, and you're starting at layer 0, and they just don't line up. Or we could just complain that Zerg's broken, I feel like everyone get on board with that. Even Zerg players, because otherwise why are you playing Zerg? Like, you get it. Other than that, though, if we got a little bit of time to kill, it's completely aside, has nothing to do with StarCraft, but I've been playing a lot of Neurovoider this week. Like, in my limited free time, I'm playing the crap out of Neurovoider. That game is so good. If you like roguelites and a twin-stick shooters, check that out. Like, it plays like a Nuclear Throne or like a Enter the Gungeon with robots, and you customize them. It's awesome. I guess now would also be a good time if you know you had a CPL game that's like, this game was sick, you should cast it. You could pitch it to me right now, and I'll see if I want to do it tomorrow. Because my group has not been decided yet.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
Ready to get into this game 2. Now, what do you think are the odds that it's going to be the same length? Like,
Significantly lower.
yeah. Well, like, so what if like both players try to cheese and it just fizzles out and we're stuck in a long game? It would be amazing.
So, I think the biggest difference that I'm expecting in game 2, especially since it's polypoid, I think what we're going to see from Stadel is 2-gate robo. Something a lot more standard, a lot more. Because what we saw, I think, that first game, no reavers. We haven't seen that opportunity if he has that reaver control to kind of bust open an attack. I don't think they got enough advantage with their 3-gate observer, so I think they want to switch it up.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference is that we'll only see one set per core from grass.
I mean, that is a significant difference.
Yeah. In the bottom right, in the white Protoss, winning an absolute slugfest of a PvP in game 1, it's grass. In the top left, in the red Protoss, fighting to stay in this series, it's Stanel.
Now, what if grass proxy 9/9s? And they don't make a cybercore because the zealots were enough. Then you're averaging 1 cybercore a game.
There you go. There you go. That's what matters, right?
That's how you act like you're not a cheeser, because you can just your opponent's like, hey, if you cheese, you do like proxy gates, be like, on average, I build 1 cybercore a game. Like it's factually true, but sounds ridiculous.
Okay, so grass. Okay, I'm gonna make a big brain prediction here. I think from this placement, I think grass is going to 2-gate, right? Because like if you're gonna be aggressive, you're gonna put your gateways close to the ramp.
I disagree with that.
You do? Okay. Well, because now we've made claims. We'll see what happens.
I think a part of it is you want to pilot near the ramp, so if you're going to go robo, the rear has less travel distance, so you might as well make it your first one.
Yeah, but you have plenty of time to build the robo pylon by the ramp.
Yeah, but nothing is going wrong, and it's like if you have the pilot near the ramp and you're getting proxied, you could build a shield battery to hold it.
Right. Oh, let's see. Come on, build the gateway. Yes.
Hey,
you're
right.
Let's go. Oh, and I think Stanel is getting it too. All right, 2-gate versus 2-gate, aka every ladder game ever played.
Fantastic. Now, you say a lot of people play this ladder, and I'm not going to argue that at all. We also see it a lot in CPL.
Right.
Does anyone do the old school 5 Zealot Forge Nexus, or is it all the delayed gas?
I feel like the delayed gas build is just like better.
I agree that's better, but different and better,
Right. Yeah. Sure. You still see it sometimes.
And I do actually like what we see from Grass here. That long game where Grass was doing better in the late game, he did go cross scout first, managed to get lucky with the scout location, but made sure there's no proxies in the middle of the map. I like that. That's like heads up.
Yeah, that's definitely a smart thing to do after such a long game. Your opponent's not going to have the stamina to play another one of those. They might chase you. But like, if you go 2-gate, you're not really worried about 9/9. Like, you're so much safer against it than you would be with a 1-gate opening.
Yeah, absolutely. But I still like knowing it's coming, because I don't know about you. It's like when you watch Terrence, like, just build the bunker. I just build the shield battery. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. You still want the shield battery.
Can't hold it. It's like, no, I build a shield battery.
Yeah. You still want shield battery proxy. Okay, well, I don't know what Gratz is doing. I thought it was going to be 5 zealots. Okay, it is 5 zealots, but it's not 5 zealots into Forge Nexus. It's 5 zealots into gas. So maybe trying to like overwhelm Stanel here, but I feel like this might be a mistake. Like 3 zealots on the ramp is going to be pretty good, especially. Ooh, there's no core from Stanel. I'm confused by this. All right, but they both figure out what's going on here, so it's going to be like 5 zealots against 5 zealots, so it's not going to be any huge lead for either player. But the tech lead is definitely going to be in favor of grass because the core has just now started for Stanel.
Yeah, I feel like when it's cross spawns and you're both doing this zealot heavy build, I don't want to be aggressive. I want to try to be the greedy one to get the expansion up or the fast protect or something. I want to get the non-aggression lead. You can see Grass is going to pull forward here, but he has 2 less zealots here. You're just going to have to run away, and I mean, Stanel can move as freely as they want, but at the very least, It is like you might be putting yourself in a micro spot where you have to do this big Zealot dance in the middle of the map. And Stalen knows you're pushing away, he can go take a Nexus.
Yeah, let's see what happens here. It's now 5 Zealots for 5 Zealots. Stalen does not want to take this fight. Maybe he just wants to get closer to his own gateways here.
Oh, the pylon base, like, attack this pylon, supply block me. Wouldn't that be great here? But Grass does not fall for it. We're still getting the good things here. Does lose the probe, which is a little bit unfortunate, but neither side really taking too much damage here. Grass did lose 1 Zealot, so it does have a little bit of a disadvantage here. And Grass is still teching up pretty nicely. Their goon range is halfway done, adding on another gateway behind this. And I'm actually surprised because I feel like what you see a lot against this 10-12 is one player's willing to go DTs because your tech's more delayed. You have to go get observers, force them to go do it. But Grass is just going for 3 gateway goon, and we're seeing Stalen actually commit to a forge so they can feel more comfortable taking that expansion.
I can tell you from very recent experience that going for a forage and expansion in this scenario is a mistake.
It usually is. Yeah. I agree with that.
Especially given that Grass has a 3rd gateway, I'm worried. Especially given how aggressive we've seen Grass be in the early game in general. I think Grass is not going to let this slip. I think Grass is going to see his cannons and know that
2 goons poking way out here.
No. But Grass runs away. It's like, well, surely you wouldn't just send 2 goons at me, so I should retreat right now.
I mean, he had a bunch of Zealots. You don't want to take a bunch of free damage, but I just wanted to make sure Stalen didn't send them too far deep where they were actually going to hug the Zealots and find out exactly how strong 8 damage is.
Exactly.
You see, moving forward now, Grass has more goons. Stalen had to stop to make this cannon, to make this Nexus, and they don't have range, but Grass does. Gets to poke forward here. That cannon is going to die so quickly to these goons, and just like you said, you usually see this game go away because cannons are not really the answer here. It's very difficult. Zealots are still doing the best they can, but Grass has plenty of units, and that range is going to make Micro so much easier. Stalen's going to finish soon, but not yet, and there's so much production got delayed for this Nexus. Gonna have to cancel, losing control, but Grass can just move up into the main. There's nothing stopping him.
Yeah, this is I think just one big mistake from Stalen, maybe misdiagnosing what was going on in the game here. It's looking very similar to game 1 actually, where Stalen just barely held on with the units coming out of the gateways, but this looks like a much bigger lead for Grass.
Yeah, especially as these next 3 goons roll up, definitely going to get bad. Trying to make panic gateways reduction won't be enough, and Stalen tapped at this one a lot earlier. Grass smells blood, gets the kill, and that's another 2-0.
Yeah, what is it about, this whole season, there's been so many 2-0s.
Can I say it's the maps that I think Butter and Sylphid and Goodnight lead to some very lopsided games sometimes?
Alright, that's going to bring it 1-2 in favor of Team Lettuce Attack right now.
Do you share me and Neblime's opinion that Lettuce Attack is a brilliant team name and we love it to death?
It's pretty good. I think all the team names are pretty good.
Yeah, they are for sure. But
people have a lot of team pride.
I laughed.
Yeah.
And you know me, I don't like the word play that much, but yeah, that one got.
But the fact what really clinches it is their logo is so good. That makes it pretty dang good. All right, we're gonna head back to Butter. We haven't even seen Eclipse tonight. I already forgot what matchup this is. I think it's PBT. It's Supperman against doLife.
I've never seen doLife, so this will be exciting.
All right, this is PBT. I was right. In the kind of military green at the top right of Butter, it's Ash doLife. And at the bottom right, in the purple Protoss, it's iRk-Supperman, the chat hero.
Damn, chat hero. We got a bunch of chat heroes. You're going to just give him the title?
Exactly. Well, of this game, there's more than one chat hero, right?
I mean, I'm gonna root for the Ash boy because that means Ash is getting new members. It's like, I haven't seen you play, but you're on Ash instead of iRk, where it's I feel like every other person in CPL is on iRk.
All right. Ooh, this probe is leaving kind of early, but not early enough to... Okay, so it's like earlier than the first pylon.
Well, it's
But
early
still
enough to
getting
do
pilot
one
to me.
thing for sure. What do you think it's going to be?
Well, you don't have to go this early to gas steal. Unless, are you trying to get in before the wall? Is that what this is? And we actually do have doLife trying to wall here. So maybe
that's what I think
that's what this is. Is it to dodge the wall in?
Well, also, like, this is the kind of thing where it's like, if you want to stop the gas, like, you have to cancel the SCV. You have to be more heads up and not just send the SCV at a normal time. So, setting it a little bit early to throw your opponent off, and hey, we can see doLife not going to react to it. Gets that gas stolen.
Dude.
And look at this, doLife. Are they? Yeah, they're not making a gateway. We're gonna see some, or Supperman. I mean, like, they're not making a gateway. We're gonna see some Nexus first behind this.
All right, you love to see it. I mean, like, there's no depth to which a Protoss player will not sink. Like, Terran finally gets a map where they can stop the gas steal, and we just had the probe faster. like doLife is like, oh my god, I'm safe. I won't get gas stolen. I found the counter. Nah, just get the probe faster. It's amazing. And actually, I think the scouting SCV here is like stuck. Like, I think this SCV was set to scout and can't get out because the barracks is not done yet. It's pretty funny. Meanwhile, like you said, it is going to be a Nexus first. This is the super trendy opening right now.
Yeah,
and we're gonna steal one. We're gonna steal 8 of the gas from a gas geyser.
Well, that's it. The game's over right there. That's impossible. Now, I know one of the things Neblime would suggest is one of the ways to deal with the gas steal at the Nexus first is throw down a second barracks.
Yeah. He said a few times that that's how he deals with it. It seems like most Terrans are like going gasless expand or just killing the assimilator. But when they kill the assimilator, I see them pull like 3 or 4 SCVs. Oh well, there you go. All right. So that's being done now. So Terran's gonna try to catch up here, but still no scouting being done. Like, oh, never mind. There's scouting SCV out here. So doLife knows exactly what's going on. It is only one gateway as well. From Supperman, so definitely the more greedy variation of 12 Nexus.
Yeah, but it doesn't look like they're going to get punished for it. Still making Marines, though, for doLife, but you see that money building up, so that should be a CC behind this. You got enough to fill out a bunker, so I don't expect to see any kind of real pressure from doLife. Still the opportunity to do so, but I think we're just going to see Supperman get a nice little advantage here, getting the gas seal Nexus first, and this puts you everything lines up nice when you do this as Protoss. Like, by the time your cyber core finishes and you're mining your gas, like, oh, I can like start like really making probes and getting gateways. Like, everything just feels good.
Right. So it's pretty much an ideal scenario for Supperman. Even gonna go try to be annoying with the first zealot, but there's a 4 Marines here, so they won't. I don't think the zealot's gonna be able to get in here and do damage, but it might be able to confirm the command center.
I mean, that alone would be good, and still you have to force doLife to do the micro, but I think it goes far enough to just see the Marines as doesn't want to push the issue. There's 5 made here, so it's still plenty. It looks like we are going to finally get that bunker started. Zealot does move forward enough, and it looks like I think it got far enough to see that CC for Supperman. So, and the bunker immediately gets canceled, so doLife recognize that I think I'm safe. Actually, I don't mind that. I really don't. I think like, the one zealot and immediately not even trying to do damage, it backs off. You don't expect more pressure behind this, and look at this. Factory is being made. We'll see if it ends up being double machine shop, get those upgrades rolling.
Okay, we'll see here. doLife trying to figure out which corners they can cut against this build, but I think these Marines have gone way too far. There's 2 zealots and a goon here. These Marines are going to get punished for this move out. They're not even trying to get away from the zealot right now.
Yeah, I don't love that. I mean, you cancel the bunker, so I guess, the Marine's not as valuable here, but losing all the Marines, it's like, there's definitely opportunity for a little bit of harass, especially once range finishes. It's a little dangerous.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that Supperman is not immediately moving out. Just try to put some damage on the Terran. Maybe worried about mines, maybe figures there's still a bunker, but it looks like instead Supperman's going to take a very fast third here, like before 6 minutes.
Yeah, I don't mind anything about how we're seeing Supperman play right now, especially since they got the Robo Observatory on the way, and they're going to be able to send that over and get an idea of what's going on. We do see an army going up for the Terran, so we're going to be able to start working on some of those upgrades. So I think you're not expecting any kind of immediate pressure. It's not like this like big factory, no upgrade kind of push. So like I think Supperman taking this fast third is not going to go punished, and again, just like these little decisions early on, just going to lead to a little bit more of a lead. As a couple of goons are going to move across the map now with range, and doLife with no bunker and just one tank has to be very careful about how they position this.
Yeah, this is going to be pretty spooky for Terran. Like, it is literally just one tank and 3 goons.
Oh, Supperman, you man after my heart. What is this? Air weapons and a support bay. I love it. I don't know what it is, but I love it.
Well, it's going to be carriers, right? Like, it's going to be a 3-base carrier build with a Reaver to stop any kind of push. That's the plan anyway. So we do have mines out here for the Terran. Oh, but the Vulture gets picked off after only laying down 1 mine. Now, this a second tank popping out might be what saves Terran. But no, it's not saves Terran at all. The tank gets picked off. The second one is definitely in danger here. So many SVs are pulled, but the tank is still... Oh my god. What a dream for Protoss. Walking in with 3 goons, killing 2 tanks. Absurd. And like all this mining time being lost. This is more than 12 SCVs. They're just not mining right now. Like, these goons are going to like Protoss Valhalla, man. Like, this is so ridiculous.
Yeah, now, think about the world where you're Supperman. You got gas steel, a Nexus first, you were unharassed, you killed all the Marines, you killed the first 2 tanks, and you're going carriers already when you killed them? It's like this is just a free ticket to an easy mid game. As long as their carrier control is halfway decent, like things are going to go pretty well here.
Oh my god,
in that one mine, please.
Yo,
let's go.
Oh my god, it never stops. The goons are here. There was 1 goon that did die to mines, and there was an observer that died to that turret, but overall, it's looking pretty good for Protoss. Now, these 2 guns are going to get popped by these tanks. Might want to slow down this rallying just a little bit.
Oh my god, look at this Vulture in the bottom left. Managed to sneak through, getting a bunch of kills, but the pros almost get it. So, doLife does find an opportunity to get some of this damage back, and at least, you know, not let this game be completely out of control with Protoss. It's Vulture already up to 8 kills, still getting more. The goons stopped. They're not even trying to defend. They stopped. No. They're going to let the probes die. No.
No, the probe could have killed the Vulture too. There's 12 kills on this Vulture. Oh no. That might be what Terran needed to equalize this game. Look at it. We have 5 factors coming out. This is definitely going to be a quick push here. Yeah, with this academy now. This is starting to look like the nightmare scenario for carriers. Now we do have the Reaver out. So that's going to help. We do have just 2 gateways, but I think all of these goons that we lost are going to come back to haunt us in a bit here. Like those first 3 goons were really good, and the rest of them were kind of like throwing Bad Bunny after good. So we'll have to see if Supperman does get punished for that.
Yeah, I really just don't like the decision. Like those first 3 goons that killed the 2 tanks, got in, like stopped all that mining. Like you can lose them. I think that's okay, but the fact that like Supperman didn't immediately just play defensive. Like you already took your 3 bases. Like your economic setup was good. You know you're doing something that's going to take a lot of time. So yeah, I think continue to be aggressive, throw away a little bit more. And doLife's actually feeling comfortable to take a 3rd CC behind this. So while we're transitioning into carriers here, Supperman, they'll have to do work when they hit the field, because if they don't, this fast 3rd from the Terran is going to be a problem.
Yeah, we'll see here. So I can't read Terran builds, man. Like I was sure this was going to be a quick move out, but instead Terran just gets a 3rd anyway. We do have this shuttle here. I think this shuttle should definitely not be trying to get kills on the workers. It should just be hanging out in front of the Terran base, just slowing down any pushes that come out here. And there is already 1 turret that covers the natural pretty well. No, don't do this. Don't commit the Reaver.
Well, it depends. Does it get big damage? It's definitely committed now.
I don't know.
First carrier at least gets something, but it's not getting much more with this. Vultures and tanks going to help clean it up, and end of the day, not worth it. Not even a little bit.
I think like what is going to happen here is like Terran is going to scan the main of Protoss, see that it's carriers, know that they killed the Reaver, and just go kill him. Look, there's not even a scan. Like, doLife is just going for it.
Yeah, I mean, Supperman does have a decent amount of gateways, can still produce some regulars behind it, but yeah, losing that Reaver, not what we want to do. These goons in the middle of the map, oh, don't take this fight straight up. Mine's getting laid, tank's doing so much damage here. Supperman really can't afford to give up more units like this, and you can see this is just kind of getting worse. Although they have a good amount of workers here, this army supply between two is pretty even, which is not exactly what you're hoping for here. I don't think this vulture actually... It killed a cannon that was mining in? How the fuck?
Oh
what?
my god.
One vulture killed a cannon warping in from the start? That happens?
Oh, yeah, dude. I think literally every single unit in the game kills a cannon before it finishes. Oh, these mines are getting big value. These mines are so good at cutting off this half of the army. Oh, but there's one carrier and there's no Goliaths.
Well, yeah, but it's one carrier without full interceptors, and you have to reveal the carrier so early so doLife knows to switch to the Goliaths because they already got the armory. Like, they're already good. Already working on charm boosters as well, but these tanks are going to start doing big damage, working on some of these probe kills, and will a couple of these things, a shuttle with one zealot, trying to do its damnedest with the siege tanks, and actually not bad. Like, it gets some pretty halfway decent damage.
It's a very thin defense here from the Protoss. These tanks are just pushing forward. They're ignoring all this damage. Oh, and there's 3 vultures in the main. Now, look at this, like, great sim city here that Supperman has. Keep vultures from getting too far in, but fortunately, Terran is busted, so they can shoot through the wall anyway.
Yeah, what's up with this every unit's range thing? That must be nice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude, just tell it to them when they lose a TVZ to Darkstorm, and then they'll tell you how good it is to have LD units be ranged.
I mean, they got splash damage tanks. They got a radiant. That's their problem.
Yeah, they're fine. Whatever, babies.
They got fire bats.
Oh, okay, now Supperman definitely should not be trying to move out here. Look at this. All these goons walking into these tanks. Carriers may... I have no idea if 2 carriers beat 3 Goliaths. Probably not if the interceptors are not quite here. Well, no, never mind. I'm completely wrong. They absolutely annihilate those Goliaths.
Remember, we are early in the game, so the upgrades for Terran aren't quite there yet. Most of the air weapons is going to finish pretty soon for these carriers, which will be a big boon. So the ground mech army only has 1, but still just maskalized. These tanks going to move over, try to shell this base. They already did so much economic damage to the main and the natural. They can get some of the probe kills here, and you can see they're just going to go for the cannon and force these carriers to go down. But this carrier count is starting to grow. They're ignoring the Goliaths and losing the carrier doing so.
Have to keep these carriers over terrain to keep them away from the Goliath range here, but it's just, I think it's too little too late from Protoss. Like, even if Terran loses this army, Protoss is down to 15 probes, and the Natural's dead. Like, it's about to be 1 base 15 probe Protoss here.
Yeah, so you can see its supply is not going to matter. It's still just maskalized, which, even at this point, if you don't make more carriers, like, it's just goods or whatever, like, the Goliaths are going to be good enough. It's not going to cause any problems.
Yeah.
But you see it trying to do the best it can. The tanks do get cleaned up, but, yeah, the economy is just in shambles at this point. There's a shuttle with a zealot in the middle of the map that I want to see try to do something. That'd be fun, but...
So maybe Terran put a mine in the wrong place so I can kill all of his workers with this.
Oh, would that be great? But oh no, the shuttle's flying over right as the Goliaths are gonna walk by. Barely escapes death.
Yeah, okay. This is Phoenix in this shuttle, right? Like, he has to win this mission.
This sounds like you're playing AI and it doesn't go quite well. You got a couple carriers and a couple units. Like, I got my buddies. This is what I need. It's 1 control group of units, and they're gonna fight a lot of Goliaths here, which these carriers don't want any of this fight.
God,
they are gonna peel back though. This is breaking my heart, man.
Dude, this is what happens to me literally every single time that I go for carriers. Like, I just get killed.
So I think a big problem is what we saw this game is, like, Supperman was so economically greedy, how fast they got that third, how thin the defense was getting it. You can't be really greedy economically and then also really greedy with the tech and just I hope they never attack me.
Yeah.
Like, one or the other sounds great. Like, so this was like, if this was a 2-base carrier play, I like it. If this was 3-base and you do normal stuff and carriers later in the game, I like it. But doing both so quickly, you can see how thin that makes your defense.
Yeah. Well, I think this might be the end of Superman in this game. The Terran army is here. The carriers are being thinned out because enough Goliaths to just kill all of the interceptors. There's mines in front of the gateways.
Yeah, but Superman at least gets the last laugh. He saved his party blimps. They didn't get to die to the Goliaths. He took them home.
Nice. We're going to head into game number 2 here, back on Polypoid. We've seen it so many times today.
Yeah, we really have. And like you allegedly say Eclipse is the 3rd map, but until I see it, I'm not going to believe you.
Yeah, that might just not happen. One sec, I'm going to close my blinds and we'll continue on.
At like 8 o'clock at night? What's shining through your blinds that you need to get out of your face?
Alright, I'm back. Are you ready to go?
Absolutely.
Let's go. Let's determine the right window. There we go. Alright, in the bottom right of Polypoid, once again in the purple, Protoss gets Supperman. In the top left, once again in the, I don't know, the slightly gray-green, it's the Terran player doLife.
I think the official name is Pale Green, but I keep thinking it's a Halo Green. Master Chief.
Yeah, it is Master Chief Green. There you go. Alright, so you can't really rely on getting the gas steal on a 4-player map. You can still totally 12 axes though. So what do you think we'll see from Superman?
I think we're going to see the most boring opener you've ever seen in your life. One gateway. There's a nexus involved. You got your one base, your one gateway with a robo. It's observers. Take a 3rd nexus. 2 more gateways. Like that thing you've seen like 90% of CPL games, because it is on a normal map. It is so hard to argue why you wouldn't do it.
Right.
I'm curious what doLife's going to do, though, because, I mean, when you have to react at the gas steal, it's a different game. I have no idea if they're like a dirty 2-facker. Do they 14 CC on a map like this? Do they like go for like a 2-1 push? Like there's a whole world that we have no idea about this Terran player. That I'm excited to see what they end up doing more than what we're going to see from Supperman. Because for us, if you're not cheesing, there's really just not that much variety, unless you want to go Reavers. That's kind of the only thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or like 1-base GT. Or
that would be a treat to see some DT play. But man, that's the one thing I don't think we see in CPL very often outside of PvP.
You're right. It is going to be 1-base play from both players so far. I mean, I'm sure we're going to see fast expansions, but no like 12 nexus, no 14 CC. Everything looking very standard so far. Superman scouting after the core a virtuous way.
That seems reasonable. It feels too late for me because I hate it when you do it that late and then get last scout, as I usually do. Yeah. So usually for me, I do on gateway, but I know like some maniacs they'll like wait for a zealot or they'll wait for a goon. I'm like, what? Are you doing?
I end up doing that. Like, I'm not sure how I feel about that. Like, I feel like 90% of the time the goon scout is fine. Then like 10% of the time they went like a 14cc or like they're going 2-fac and you can't actually tell, like something like that. But most of the time I think goon scout is fine if you're going for like one of those like 21 through 28 nexus builds.
Yeah, it's usually not too bad here. doLife taking guys off the gas, so indicating that they should be taking that early nexus, especially at this level. You're not doing that kind of stuff just for giggles. But Probe's not going to be able to get in and actually confirm that. 2 Marines already on the ramp, and he's going to try. He's going to die for the effort and see nothing. So it's a little unfortunate for Supperman.
Yeah, you definitely want to keep that probe alive, even if you can't get it up the ramp. Like, just having it out front, you might see them come down with an SCV. You might see, like an FD moves out. You'll see when a Vulture comes out. Just keeping that probe out in front of the turn base is pretty strong. We do have a Goon headed out here to fulfill the same role. Looks like it'll be a 28 Nexus front Supperman. It's a bit older, but it's still good, and you're going to get some damage on the bunker that you might not otherwise get. Trying to poke forward to the command center. Yeah, nice.
Did they get far enough to actually can see it? I think so. It was very close if they did. I'm pretty sure it's not now. Always a good move, though. And we just see doLife first upgrade will be for Spider Mines. Really good to get those Vultures on the map, lay mines at the potential third base, force them to get cleared out, and get an idea of when Protoss is trying to take
the Vulture sneaks by. Supperman could have at least seen that. I mean, I think Supperman saw it anyway, but Supperman's Goon was to the left. It could have gotten a few pot shots off on that Vulture. Now it's kind of scary. So I was gonna say that there's gonna be 3 Goons hitting this bunker. Oh my god, the Vulture make me walk by each other. Oh shit! And these 3 Marines are pulled out trying to punish Supperman for not looking at the Goon, but he does catch it. So the thing is, if you don't get a tank first, the Goons are going to get some damage on the bunker. But Supperman's not trying to force that issue right now. And there's a Vulture laying mines. This is a huge headache for Protoss, because those mines are going to make it harder to expand. They're going to make it harder to reinforce. Those mines could be behind your army when you try to retreat from a tank. But we have this bunker almost going down here.
Where is the... Yeah, just barely enough. I was surprised he got that low. And there's that first tank. With only 2 Goons, you're not going to really be able to push that one out. Actually taking notable hold damage.
Oh,
Don't
no.
lose that Goon.
Oh, no. Not like this.
Yeah, backs off with the second one at least. And
this tank is hungry. This tank wants it, dude.
Oh, it's going to get it if Supperman's not more careful. I think he just retreats the point.
Oh, my god. Dude,
that's fire. That's playing with fire. Trying to do that one. So it does back off on that. Now these mines from doLife scare the crap out of me, because I'm used to them going at where you'd put the next Nexus, or at the ramps. But these are I don't think I see these coming. I think I just walk goods to them to get them killed. Oh, look at this!
How does that probe make it out of there? I can't believe that probe made it through that entire base. I think the Vulture is still going to get it. But anyway, as you say, we do have a push here from doLife. I think Supperman lost 1 or 2 Goons. Oh god, these mines are going to do some more damage. This could be pretty rough. It is just 2 tanks.
Observer is out, but yeah, that damage from the mines is not what you want to see. Siege mode is pretty far away from done, though, so doLife can't get really set up on that high ground and cause too many headaches, but you're still slowing everything down. And look at the world of difference compared to the first game. Supperman's still on 2 bases, hasn't really tried to make the move to take the third because that Vulture chased it off. Now, the Citadel is complete at this point, so I'm expecting to see Arbiter play here. But Supperman, on the gameplay, it looks very similar to what we saw before, getting a reasonably early armories on 2 factory production, and they'll build up, I think, just the same way we saw last game, which worked out quite well for them. And there's that third Nexus.
There you go. Still pretty early. At a decent time at the mineral high ground, not quite as strong as the gas base, but you want to defend this high ground anyway, right? So you might as well take the space, and then you can. Yeah,
you gotta take that one first. Yeah. You don't want tanks and Vultures to have that spot to run back to. That's a nightmare.
Right. And you can parlay it into the 4th base pretty easily, right? Just use the minerals from this base to get the 4th. Now there is an observer outside the natural of Terran, but not in the main base, so can't quite get a read on the factory count. But we'll see if Terran chooses to move out here. Observer's trying to find a way in, but actually heading towards where the turrets are. Oh, don't do it. Don't do it. No, Supperman.
It got in kind of far enough where you at least have an idea of the factor count, which isn't too bad here. And the vultures come in to see that that third base is done, basically just as it gets finished. Tries to lay his mind, but won't get the job done with the observer hanging out right there. But still, Supperman, they do get their third base up. They have a little idea of what we're seeing from doLife, but not as comfortable as you would want to see, honestly. And here comes the Stargate to go through. Should be that arbor deck I was mentioning.
Oh, yeah, there is a Citadel. Yes, this would be arbors, not carries, probably. But we do have a small move out here from doLife. It's going to be 5 tanks and just a handful of vultures, but in this scenario, you absolutely don't want to lose these vultures, right? Like, these tanks are completely exposed. Like, if there's a shuttle, there's DT, if there's any kind of shenanigans out of Protoss, these tanks are in big trouble. But I think I might get away with it this time. Like, Supperman does not want to take this fight. These vultures get in here, lay some mines. Tanks are leapfrogging up here.
Yeah, it's a little interesting. I like that we are seeing it be aggressive. As long as he doesn't lose what he's got on the field here, but, you know, no zealous just yet. Shuttle being made, so that will be helpful in defense if doLife keeps pressuring a little too aggressively here. But I think these tanks are in a pretty good position. A lot of goons being reinforced, though. Supperman's army starting to kind of build up a little bit here. The mines being placed in a great job just to at least buy time. You can see those probes either had to get evacuated or get killed. The tanks rolling up in here. Not in siege mode until they get right in a great spot on that ramp, but they're sitting on top of mines. That is fucking terrifying.
Yeah, but where's the I saw a shuttle being made, but it's not quite over yet. Man, this is depressing for us. It's like so close, but it can't quite make it work.
Well, here comes that shuttle, man. Just for you. 3 zealots in it.
Oh my god, please. Kill all these tanks. They deserve it. No, drops way too early. Doesn't quite get the bomb off. Does get one of these tanks.
Oh, that could have been so much better, but still. Losing the Nexus should clear up this whole situation here. Actually put Supperman at a supply block at the moment, but you take doLife's army and clear most of it out here. We've got plenty of observers. The mine's doing some pretty good damage here. doLife really kind of getting maximum value out of this small hit squad he moved out with. I see the Arbiter in production, but this is not how Protoss imagines this game to go, unfortunately.
Well, the thing is, so once this is done, like, I feel like Protoss can, like, double expand here. Like, and, like, look at the, like, it seems like doLife, like, forgot to macro during that. So this, like, it sucks that Protoss lost the third, but they could totally take, like, 2 bases right now, right? There's no army for Terran right now.
Well, I think it's also going to depend on what doLife wants to do, especially dipping in the macro. You see a lot of factories being added on, and they didn't add on that second armory. So, like, you can't really keep the upgrades going in the way you want to normally. So, we might be seeing just slam down a bunch of factories, get a couple rounds out, and then punish Supperman for taking that next base if they try to be greedy.
Oh my god, by the way, I love that we just had this zealot at the 4th base face tanking on mine to clear it out. Doesn't want to wait to get a goon and observer over there. So we do have a double expand, and look, like you were saying, we do have a ton of factories coming out for a doLife, and another observer sadly gets shut down by a turret. So, ooh, is this recall first? Did we get stasis already? I think we must have. You can get it before the first arbiter comes out.
Yeah, I didn't see it, which this is always a mistake. Unless you just do not have the gas to get both upgrades, you should always begin stasis first.
Yeah,
just because of how the energy works out, there's no reason.
Yeah, especially because you're going to be defensive in this scenario.
Let's hope here. But Vulture's gonna manage to run through. No cans as natural. Oh, you can just waste time, get some probe kills. Mines are gonna do. They're just buying time for these factories to get those production rounds out. Look at the pro damage that's being done for 4 vultures. This is fantastic.
What a nightmare.
Oh yeah, I mean it is a nightmare, but you pick the group where, like, unless Protoss is playing Protoss, apparently it's not going great for them. So.
Exactly. Oh my god, I'm cursed, dude. Yeah, we have been trying to move out here on that. Maybe trying to catch some units, but that just lets vultures scoot right on by, and they're gonna go try and kill some more probes. Terrible. Oh my god, of course, right? Of course they come here exactly as the probes are being transferred. How do they know, dude? How does Sarah know when you're transferring workers? They do it every time.
I mean, it's the same way that every Zerg player you play on ladder knows your wall sucks when they go 3 edge.
Yeah.
They just know there's a sixth sense. You can see how much damage is being done. Supperman down to 41 probes. They've eaten a good like 15 out of this. This is terrible. Arbiter's starting to build up, but we do see the control tower going on a starport. So maybe a move to go into getting some science vessels, get some EMP shockwave going. But the upgrades aren't really progressing. Just working on level 1 armor and really producing out of this. So you can see doLife's supply starting to shoot up here. They did take a third base, so maybe not super excited to move out. And Supperman very spaced out, flies a shuttle. Oh my god, that barely fucking survived. Oh my god.
I'm starting to worry we don't have stasis because we're not seeing it come out of these arbiters right now. Oh,
yeah, I'm gonna say we don't have stasis.
Oh no, this attack is a disaster for Protoss.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, the stasis.
No.
Oh, it happens to everybody. But man, it feels bad when it does. And look at these vultures. Small investment again, just gonna keep doing damage, keep Supperman back, and this advantage for doLife is just gonna kind of keep growing bigger. Especially losing the shuttle, almost losing both arbiters. Like, this is just rough. And there's that first vessel on the way.
Oh my god, dude, what a rough game. Oh man, it feels so bad.
Why'd you do this to us, man?
I thought we were boys. My god. Okay, I think next time let's just pick a group that has no Protoss, so we don't suffer like this.
Yeah, they're just pure entertainment values. Exactly. Like, all right, 2 pros guys talking about bugs versus dudes.
Bugs versus dudes. I love it.
So the recall is done. There is this 200 energy arbiter, but it's low health. So it's like, do you try to go for the recall? It's like, that's how you get back in this game. But man, that arbiter never survives to do it, right?
I don't know. I think we're about to see the Supperman just recall out of this game when this push comes in here.
There's energy for 2 stasis. Go for the move. There might be a chance.
There you go,
There'll be lead in front. So every Goliath hit is terrifying on that arbiter. It's less so little health. Ugh. You're gonna try to sneak around here, basically forfeiting this mineral base, which that is what it is. Not too bad. It has a probe that's gonna be able to move over to the 3 o'clock, but a mine's there. Getting that big flank swinging around here. Are these stasis gonna be good enough? The Goliath's hunted for that arbiter. Oh, will he get it off?
Oh my
no.
God. One stasis, okay, but yeah,
it's one.
That's a big stasis.
Yeah,
but I think there's not enough zealots here.
I don't think there's enough Protoss here, like anything. There's too many tanks at this point.
Supperman trying definitely to save this base, but I think doLife just has too much. I think
yeah, a little unfortunate. Look at the reinforcements that are rolling out too. If that's not up to their job, like this reinforcement wave, look at the supply difference. doLife really focused on what they wanted to do, and Supperman kind of fumbling a couple things here. Just there's nothing you can do. The tanks are gonna exit stasis as the reinforcements come, and you just roll up to that natural, kill all the reinforcements as they spawn.
Yeah, there's no like second basic gateways or anything to try to defend through this. Supperman is going to tap out. We have another 2-0 here. That's the right button. Here we go.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you read chat when we're doing casting. I always have it on the second monitor. Supperman, when we were saying, like, I don't remember seeing stasis. Like, yeah, I don't remember seeing it either. He's like, I must have. Oh, that's unfortunate. Definitely well played, though, by doLife. I think between the 2 games, like adapting to the gas deal, then when you get to play your normal game, looks very strong in both games.
Right. Definitely very solid turn play there. We're going to get into our last series, and there's good news. There's no Protoss in it, so we don't have to suffer.
Cool. So we watched 5 Protoss players, and 4 of them lost. 2 O's.
Exactly. And it's going to be a ZVZ between JoJo and nOm.XUN. So cool. you know that us 2 Protoss players are going to have some good insight on this.
Hey, don't let me in with you. I know that Zerglings are better than Hydras, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, that's about it. All right. In the top right of Butter, in the bluish gray, fighting for Team GOSU, it's JoJo. And at the bottom right, on Team Lettuce Attack, and in Clam nOm, It's the Magenta Zerg Shun.
Alright, so here's where I'm torn. I've seen Shun play, and they're strong. So I know like they're gonna power it out. But JoJo being on Sweden B, that's a very serious tag to throw on your thing. If they're practicing up, like this could be pretty exciting here.
Oh, is that what that means? I had no idea what that tag meant.
Oh, I don't know if like they're actually or if this is a tag, but that's what I would assume, right?
Right.
For like the whole like Nation Wars, that's Sweden Team B.
That makes sense.
All right, no 9 pull action from either player. For the 2-player map with no ramp, but you can still get a good lane concave to defend your base. I think what we usually see on this map, though, because of all those like lanes you can attack through, I see a lot more speed lane based play rather than muta based play.
Yeah,
you can get into it eventually, but I think early on you gotta really respect how strong lanes can be.
Okay, so what do you think about both players sending their Overlord to the enemy natural rather than the main?
I like it because if you just went straight to the main, it's not going to be too much faster to see any really important info, but being in the middle, especially where this magenta one is, you see 2 lanes of attack if lanes just run at you.
Oh, I didn't think about the lings. That makes sense.
Yeah, so if it was like a 5 pool, you have a little more time to prepare. Yeah, so I like that.
Okay, I like that. That makes sense. I saw it yesterday when I was casting by myself, but I didn't understand why they were checking the natural rather than just going to the main, but the fact that you get to see lanes is pretty big.
And look, we're already seeing a difference between the players. ZUN already has their gas, is going to start mining up. JoJo, however, is going to try to get an early hatchery, and not in the main. They're going to do it at the natural instead. So it's going to be up to if they can actually successfully defend this, and especially with that Overlord kind of rolling through right to the natural. You're going to see all the info you're looking for, so even scouting this way isn't going to give you any kind of direct disadvantage.
Oh, and it's not going to be speed, though. It's super fast layer here.
I like it. Even though it wasn't a 9 pool, it's still going to be very fast. And without any kind of scouting info, JoJo is only going to find out whenever that Overlord eventually gets there. And this is going to be pretty dangerous. If JoJo goes for link speed first, there'll be a big mismatch of the tech they have. But I think it's going to force them to have to go Evo Chamber and Spores.
Yeah.
And you can see this Overlord at the natural, sees the hatchery, sees some links, but they're not moving out on the map just yet.
Alright, JoJo has that gas. Where's it going to go? Lair or speed? Seems like might be waiting to find out. Does end up being lair.
Okay, I don't mind that. I think that's a reasonable spot if you just play to be defensive. I think that's what we're seeing with JoJo, keeping everything in that choke at the natural. Which this is, like, I understand having the expansion at your natural. If you can secure it, you get that extra gas. It's so much good later, but I really like hatch in the main. Like, being able to defend it with, like, 1 sunken, I have to really invest in a lot of defense, especially if you do get forced where it's like, oh, I'm in a bad spot. I need to get Evo Chambers and Spores. That natural expansion becomes such a liability. It scares me to death every time I see it. And ZUN's, upon scouting the natural, does end up getting their own second hatchery, so it's not going to be a larva mismatch between 2 players. And I think the biggest thing ZUN's trying to do right now is just keep an eye on these links. Like, no speed's been researched. He sees that they're moving slowly, and this one link from ZUN is going to try to get into the natural and just poke around. It's hilarious.
Oh my god.
It's actually being significantly annoying. Man, if he gets a drone, it was close. We do see that Spire difference, though, about halfway done at this point, so there's going to be a little bit of a window here that ZUN's going to have mutas, and they won't be able to be contested. You can see JoJo already starting to retreat the Overlord, just trying to get them in a decent spot. JoJo's going to try to force through here, but ZUN, keeping that decent concave at the choke point, not going to really lose. Both sides trading lanes, and ZUN has enough to keep defending. Doesn't have to put any counter pressure on because all the defense is inside the main as the Spire is about to finish. And there's that Evo Chamber for JoJo. Oh no.
Oh wow. Is this really enough of a Spire lead that you need a Spore? I mean, I guess you have more ground to cover.
If you have enough of a Spire lead and you don't have any kind of Evo Chambers or Spores or anything, it's just like how you put Scourge to kill the first Corsair.
Uh-huh.
You can do the exact same thing with the mutas.
Yeah.
So I like the move we're seeing here. And look, because of this extra hatchery, Zune has 6 Mews on the way. This is not a small punch of air. Like Zune's, all of his resources have been spent. He's gonna have so many air units. 4 on the board already, 3 more, so it's gonna be that total of 7. And JoJo back at home, there's one sunken, or the one spore in the main. It's gonna help defend us a little bit. And you got one at the natural, so this is why, like I was saying, it's like I don't like this 2 bases. It's so hard to defend here. But there's going to be 7 mutas. Zone's going to have complete map control. They're going to be able to do pretty much what they want. JoJo does have more drones, though. So if they survive, they're in a good spot.
The gas is completely unprotected. I think this first spore was just in the wrong place. Like, the upper half of the main base is completely unprotected. Like, the drones are being shot. The gas is unprotected. The spire's unprotected. Like, I think Shun is just going to abuse this weakness as much as possible here.
Definitely seems that way. And then, like, JoJo just doesn't have that many Mews to match this. They're trying to build a couple here. They're going to have to fight over that spore. Be very, very careful. Micro's going to be very key to how this goes here. Jun still has 6 Mews, managed to cancel one of those spires going down. Gets the second one as well. And we're really working on these drones, getting some good damage done so far.
Yeah, and JoJo, like, despite having these 2 bases, has no gas right now because there's no mining going on. Thanks to these mutas here.
And the other thing you gotta think about with Zun, like doing all this micro, to build up a lot of minerals, they have all this larva back at home. That could just be a bunch of lings that can go in. There's like no defense against the battle now. JoJo's building a lot of drones trying to match up for this, though. I think if Zun sees that it's just drones being made, that might trigger the response to make these lings. But still, we're just working on adding on more air superiority, but doing so much damage already.
The spire's gonna go down here. That's absolutely brutal. Like, I don't know if JoJo can possibly come back into this. We'll have to, like, leapfrog your spores out here, but Shun is not giving them time to do that. Like, just being relentless here. We're starting to get to the point where there's enough mutas to just straight up fight a spore colony, right? Like,
yeah, but I mean, look what Shun's doing, though. 600 minerals at this point. That could be another hatchery at the main. Like, I see he's being very careful. He has the lings protecting his entrance, so he doesn't want to move out, but he has idle larvae all over the place. These could be lings to help secure this kill. He does have enough mutas where this shouldn't be a problem, but I feel like if this defense is a little closer than what it actually is, Shun's being sloppy here could actually have caused a lot of problems.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I also think that Shun is just going to punch through this. Well, it's only 3 mutas left. Now that I say that, it's only 3 mutas left, and we're about to have 2 spores in the main here. So actually, you know what? Maybe that is too much of a mistake from Shun to not get that. Look, speed is like just now started on the link. So it seems like Shun is now like reassessed what was going on, realizes that they didn't quite manage to close out the game.
I like that choice. It's just a rally point.
No, I was like, I thought it was a drone from JoJo. I was like, how did this possibly happen? No, like I just kind of got it from a rally though. So we have 2 links from JoJo. Actually, did manage to make it out here. Not going to be enough to do any damage to Shun, but Scout sees that there's no expansion.
Yeah, it's definitely some good info for him to get there, but you can see he's on the like trying to get that. Ooh, an expansion be taken in this much further spot to defend, and JoJo actually finds it with 2 lings, so gonna put some pressure on here. It's a little annoying to deal with. Mew's not going back to defend it, and here's the big move out with lings. I think when these roll up into JoJo's base, like a bunch of spores are nice, but one sunken that's not even like in a good Sim City. These Mews don't have to do anything anymore. The lings, we can finish up the job.
Yeah, I think you're right, and they could run by to the main anyway if they couldn't take this fight. But this sunk is very exposed in the front, and that is going to be the end of JoJo. So Shun slipped on the macro there, but managed to make some lings and still find the way to punish.
Yeah, the lead they had didn't matter. It's just it's not what you wanted to see, because like if the game was closer, that's the reason you would have lost. So. Definitely, good lead. It's something I feel like when we watch CBZ this CPL season, we see almost 100% of the time link speed then lair. So it's mixing up to do the lair first. Maybe cut their opponent off a little bit, like out of position with how fast you can actually get those mutas.
Alright, we're heading into game 2. It's Polypoid. Once again, you know it. You love it. Here we go. In the bottom right, it's the magenta Zerg, Shun. In the bottom left, in the blue Zerg, it's JoJo. Now, can JoJo be the hero to show us that Eclipse exists? Well, we get to see it.
Until I see it, I'm going to pretend it's not Eclipse. I'm going to pretend these guys are renegades, and the final map is Monty Hall.
Monty Hall, oh my god.
Hey, we basically... Butter has 3 paths. It's kind of the same.
Oh, you're right, you're right.
If anyone has not seen that map, go watch like an old Casper game because that map is shenanigans. It's terrible. Ooh, already a little advantage. JoJo getting lucky. They're going to have the Overlord scouting advantage. Shun unfortunately went the wrong direction.
Okay, I have a map idea. So there's a neutral command center in all of the main bases. That way Zerg always gets infested Terrans. And like, what would that do to ZVZ? I think they would just still get sniped by Mutas. But like, what if you like rush to get them? Yeah.
Oh no.
I think they would actually just die to Mutas anyway, so it wouldn't change anything. It'd just be a big mistake, but it would be funny.
I think you die before you get the queen to infest it.
Yeah, like your opponent.
If you try to get the queen to infest, I think you die before you get it. So look at what we're seeing here. Jun is going for the 9 hatchery. So this is going to be big Ling pressure.
Yeah,
Even get 6 hat-trick just to keep things going here. And JoJo, we got the 12 pool. With the pool, again, not in the greatest spot I've ever seen. It's like, it's going to be a little bit exposed to some Ling pressure. So this Overlord from JoJo will at least see what's going on. But hopefully they recognize what is this hatchery time and what it's going to tell about the opponent. There's that spawning pool for Shun behind it. No Hydra ZVZ Lightstorm, you shut your mouth. No.
Don't you wish that on us?
No, I like seeing it, but that's not what I want to see this game. I like this 9 hatchery. I want to see links from Shun. I want to see him either going to win the game or the JoJo holds on. Either way, it should be exciting. Now, you're talking about that neutral command center. Did you ever watch games on Holy World?
No, but there was that point on the ladder where there was that one map that had a command center in the middle, and I did have infested Terrans over me one time. I had to cross that off my bucket list, and I'll never want to do that ever again. That was miserable.
Well, if you ever want to, no, this is 9 hatch then pool return. 9 hatch extractor trick for pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you ever want to go back in time, go look at old Casper games on Holy World. Anything with the Zerg, it's funny. It's really funny, especially the reverse Pro House games. It's like the Reach era, so it's it's a good time. Well, we see Jun going for the gusto with this early hatchery, get enough gas to get their speed for their legs, and that's it. So, gonna macro up and kind of just show up out of nowhere. The Overlord does see from JoJo what's going on, but look, JoJo made a bunch of lings early and is immediately just like, they're hanging back at home. They're not even trying to poke forward, knowing it could be a problem.
So,
which is 100% the correct thing.
There's no gas from JoJo. I think this actually is Hydra's.
You shut your mouth.
I think we're actually about to see. I think we're going to see a third hatchery, like in the main. No, this can't just be a super like gas, right? Like, there's no point.
Well,
like,
if you get a third hatchery, this could also be for a lot of legs, like to get the extra larva instead. But you see, he's actually spending the money on all these extra, all these creep colonies, which this is going to be good. It's like as far as trying to defend from Shun, as long as JoJo doesn't bite and get dragged away from here. But speed's done, not blocking the ramp, the cap. Oh, he's actually going to try to take the fight. Lots of lanes are here. SimCity's going to help out. There's one sunken done. Drone's getting pulled as well. Shun's bringing his own drones to the party. I don't know if that was a purpose. We're going to pretend it wasn't. Into the main.
Oh my god. Yeah, he's ready to offensive sunk here. The main of JoJo. I think if Shun just ran for it, they would have like wiped out the main. But it's hard to make that call in the moment. Now, like, somehow Shun attacked and lost 2 drones. Right? Like, so now JoJo is ahead in the drone count. Both players on the same base count, but JoJo's going to feel pretty dang safe with these 3 sunkens here. I'm just worried about this gas. I don't understand why it was so late.
Well, we'll see what it ends up being. It might just be late to get the extra money. I think a part of it was seeing the 9 hatchery, just investing in these sunkens to stay alive just in case. But what I am concerned about is that XUN went back to my gas. They got the lair, and they're both about the same time. The Overlords do see what's going on, but XUN has the link speed, so JoJo can't ever safely move out the pressure.
Right.
Because it's link speed, if they get this around the middle of the map, that's going to really wrap things up. It is also because JoJo has all these sunkens, like, XUN shouldn't ever want to attack, so XUN should be defensive, and just like what we saw in the last game, really lean into these mutas. So I want to see him take that second gas at the natural soon. I think it's going to be super necessary for how he wants to play this game moving forward.
Let's see what happens here. XUN is getting a creep colony of their own, but I don't really feel like JoJo's going to be aggressive anytime soon here.
I don't mind just getting the one, is like if you need it as a turn, because XUN still doesn't have an Overlord in the main. So we know they're about the same timing as far as lairs and things, but XUN might be playing in dark and just being ready if he has to get an Evo chamber. But you see Spires about the same time here. JoJo has a lot more drones though, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's funny. Like I mean, I guess it was a 9 hatch, so all of the early larvae were spent on lings rather than drones. But like XUN did get the hatchery earlier and ends up with fewer drones. And we're up to a staggering 20 drones.
Yeah, what game is this, man? Yeah. This is not ZBZ. You guys are being gentlemen and not attacking each other. What's happening here?
Yeah. Seems like it's going to be a big muta fight in this game, right? Because both players did go for that Spire. Both players have 2 gas. I think we're going to see some huge clouds of mutalisks here.
Yeah, I think a big part of what we're going to see here, because JoJo actually has a 3rd hatchery out of the way, so they will have a larva advantage. But they are a little bit behind gas-wise. XUN took their second gas a little earlier and banked up more earlier on anyway. I think a big thing will just be who's going to be willing to make mostly mutas and a couple Scourge and manage to get some good Scourge hits to win that initial muta fight, because then it's going to snowball out. Because the way we're going now, there's not going to be Evo Chambers and Sunkens and Sports. Like, it's just going to be... Right. You're going to win the air or you're going to lose the air. And as I say that, here's an Evo Chamber from JoJo anyway. Okay, whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, I feel like XUN's lair was late. So, like, if it was in optimal timing, maybe there would be a danger zone where you need this spore. Maybe it just does not want to get the Spire sniped. Like, the spore is directly on the Spire. So maybe that's what that's about. I do want to mention, like, I feel like we almost never see Muta Scourge versus Muta Scourge in CPL. It's always like only one player is really going for the mutas, or like one player like goes way faster to the mutas, so it's like 5 against 1. So the Scourge don't even matter.
Yeah, I think a big part of it is just you see people going lanes, because it's like going mutas versus lurkers in ZBT. If you're playing like on a rough connection, or if you're just learning, your muta micro is probably not up to the level where it might need to be. Or lanes are a lot easier to control, relatively anyway.
Yeah.
And look at this, both players actually even investing in their muta upgrades. JoJo was first to the punch to try to work on armor, but you see, XUN's slowly clawing back that economic deficit, not as behind as they used to be before, and actually still up on supplies, so they have a little more army to this. Still has all the lanes back at home, didn't have to invest in all the stack defense. But we'll see what they end up managing to do. They got a couple mutas and a couple Scourge. If they want to poke forward and maybe get an opportunity, that Spore might actually make a big difference in this fight, unless JoJo moves out at just the worst possible time. And here we go in the main.
All right, we'll see here. There's not that many Scourges, just 2. Just have to get a bit of damage on here. Oh, but XUN wisely goes for the natural. The Spore is in the wrong place. Scourge do connect on the mutas of JoJo.
And there's that bait. They went away from the Spores, managed to get some good hits here. So now XUN has a little bit of a lead. That air armor hasn't kicked in just yet. We're actually up a significant amount of mutas here, and some of JoJo's are still very bruised here. A lot of reinforcements coming through. JoJo's will have to be there to help. XUN's haven't been rallied just yet, but doing so much drone damage here. Finally getting that drone lead. Gotta fight, but they're not near the spore, and Zun has so much more. Oh, I do not like this fight that JoJo just took.
I mean, I don't think he has a choice. Like, I think like XUN is just killing all of these drones. You can't just let that happen. But I think there probably is no good choice at this point. I think XUN is just like completely out micro JoJo here with these muted nests. But it's a huge lead. It's an 8-2 here.
Yeah, you can see, like, XUN back at home, like, they're building up stuff. They haven't even sent it over. It's still got the links they could use for pressure. There's 4 meters by the 6 that aren't even in the fight. JoJo's going to tap out anyway. XUN, really good muted control, managed to get another 2-0, and, man, it's a damn shame we didn't get to watch Monty Hall today.
Okay, oh, look, we have the real Neblime here at the very last minute.
Oh, that's the scheme. He just wants to watch us talk about ZBZ.
Okay, so it's going to end up as a 1-4 in favor of Team Lettuce Attack. So pretty strong showing here in the Tier 0. Well, Saetzero, thank you for casting with me. Or I guess thanks for inviting me to cast with you, because this is the match of the week. I think we had some really good games today.
Yeah, had a good time, and you know what? I bet we're gonna have a better time tomorrow.
Oh, really? Oh, you think you can find a better group than I did, where the Protoss got annihilated?
I'm gonna hope so, but either way, it's just more StarCraft to cast with a friend. How is that not gonna be a good time?
That sounds good. Do you think we should raid JN?
Sure, why not?
All right, let's do it.
JN's a good guy. He has raided us a couple times. We can return the favor.
All right, guys. Make sure to say hi to JN. We're going to log off for the night. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Yep.
Goodbye.